Welcome to Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. You are looking live at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, where the Cowboys host Oklahoma in the latest edition of the Bedlam series. And folks, the stakes could not be any higher. Already Nebraska has wrapped up the Big 12 North. Who will play them in Dallas next week? If Oklahoma State wins, they will clinch the South for the first time. But if OU wins for the 8th straight time, we got a three-way tie, and we'll turn it over to the BCS boys. Welcome, everybody. With Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brett Musburger. Thanks for dropping by. We got some excitement for you here tonight. Herbie, great offenses. Landry Jones of the Sooners.
Well, there's firepower all over the field, and you're right. Start with Oklahoma and Landry Jones. Of course, stepped in last year for Sam Bradford, did a great job. This year is really taking his game to the next level. More consistent with the passing game. The Sooners tonight, I think, need something from the running game to take some of the pressure off of Landry Jones, especially playing on the road, but he's the key, and Ryan Broyles is his go-to guy.
Remarkable story for the Cowboys. Brandon Whedon, 27 years old as the quarterback.
27 years old, a veteran, although he's in his first year as a starting quarterback, taking over for Zach Robinson. Really, the team has grown around his infectious attitude, and I think tonight, very important that he also has the ability to find Kendall Hunter in the backfield, number 24, running the ball, take some of the pressure off him, but he'll be throwing all night to Justin Blackman, another wide receiver who's one of the best in the country.
Herbie, speaking of Kendall Hunter, a senior, this is senior night being introduced. Here's a record-setting running back being embraced first of all by his coach, who awards him that football. Kendall comes in averaging 132 yards rushing per game. He has scored 16 touchdowns already this year, and there is Mama waiting for her son to come out and present her with that flower. It's the lull before the storm. Bedlam is coming up next from Stillwater. It is a beautiful night here in Stillwater. It had been rather frosty a few days earlier down here in Oklahoma, but tonight this is football weather for the Big 12. And our Dr. Pepper rivalry recap will show you how the older brother down the road from Norman has dominated this series. Won the first 8 games by shutting out Lynn A&M. They won the last 7 over Oklahoma State. The average margin of victory, 22 points. But the Cowboys have been in high gear. Their only loss this year came right here on this field at the hands of Nebraska. The Sooners have lost twice on the road. This has been the Nissan pregame shift. Kickoff for Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State is coming up next.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility, what's your policy? And Hanes, get comfortable in the Comfort Flex waistband.
Just your basic neighborhood rivalry here in the Sooner State. Oklahoma down in Norman. 81 miles separates Norman from Stillwater. And Coach Mike Gundy is with the third member of our team, Aaron Andrews. Let's go to Aaron.
All right, Brent, thanks, Coach. Your players have been saying all week through the media, the biggest game in school history with everything at stake. What have you told them about keeping their emotions in check early?
Well, we talked early in the week about just taking care of business like we have the other 11 weeks. And that's important. They've prepared well. They're ready to play this game.
Wide receiver Justin Blackman been hampered with an ankle injury. Realistically, what can you expect from him tonight?
Well, we're not sure. I mean, his pain tolerance will play a big factor in this. He's been very durable and very tough. We'll just have to see how he holds up.
Right, thank you. All right, Brian.
Thanks, Aaron. Mike and Oklahoma State won the toss. It means that Bob Stoops and Oklahoma will get the football to start this game because the Cowboys deferred. So we will see Landry Jones, DeMarco Murray, Ryan Broyles, and this high-flying OU offense as we get ready in this gorgeously remodeled stadium. Boone Pickens putting up the Capitol. Stadium is named for him. And man, that's when you know you're going good. When you're living and you come to your own stadium. And Boone is here tonight as we get ready. Kicking game, little bit of an edge to the Cowboys here, folks, overall. Their all-time record scorer, Dan Bailey, handles the field goals, and Quinn Sharp, their outstanding punter, will kick it away. And that is Troy Franks, the freshman, back deep for the Sooners. So settle in, everybody. Here comes Bedlam. Like I said, strong legs are being, so here come the Sooner weapons.
This is the key tonight, I think, for Oklahoma, is to be able to stay on the field with Oklahoma State's firepower. Landry Jones, we talked about him in the open. DeMarco Murray, who's just as dangerous catching the ball as he is running out of the backfield. And Ryan Broyles, what a year, over 100 yards this year, or 100 receptions. You can see 1,300 yards on the year receiving. They do a good job of moving him around and trying to find unique ways to get him the football.
Kevin Wilson's first formation is that pistol. Boise State hopes never to see this formation again. That, of course, was put together by Nevada in that upset last night. Deflected, incomplete. They threw on first down.
And one of the things when you're going up against Oklahoma, they get the ball out so fast that it's hard to get a pass rush and get after Landry Jones. So the big thing the defensive linemen have been coached to do by Bill Young this week is get up in the air.
Chinasa did just exactly that. And Landry coming right back underneath to DeMarco Murray. And he was being pursued by Sean Lewis, the freshman linebacker from Missouri City, Texas. And he did not let the running back loose over there.
How about a true freshman in this scene, in this atmosphere? He grows up in Texas. He's probably watched this game his whole life, and now he has a chance to see this up-tempo offense from the Sooners right in his face.
Ori Lemon, number 41, is right at the heart of this defense for Bill Young. Creeping up with Justin Jett, number 42. They'll rush 4 here on third down. Fire for the 1st and 10. And they come out throwing, and they hit Kenny Stills, another talented freshman. He's from the state of California.
And we have a veteran truck here. They're going with a quick trigger on this replay, and they should because of the up-tempo. But what arm strength there on third down by Landry Jones.
Goes for 20 yards, comes back. 4 straight passes, incomplete. Couldn't get Ryan Broyles into the reception column, and that was Johnny Thomas, the safety, who had jumped number 85.
And this tempo by Oklahoma, Sam Bradford had down, and Landry Jones, to his credit, last year he had 10 starts stepping in for Bradford with the injury. This year, of course, has played all the way through. Good command of this offense and the up-tempo style of the Sooners.
1 of 4. But that one was big for 20 yards for number 12, and he's back again. 5 straight passes. Goes deep on that far sideline. And Andrew McGee, the young man who has played with a broken wrist. You can see that black tape on that left wrist. He's a dandy.
And he's also in great position, Brent. If anything, Stills, the true freshman, gives him a little bit of a shove. McGee's in great position. Oklahoma State, a big key for them. Keep everything in front of you. Don't give up any big plays. Make this Sooner offense earn everything they get.
Facing third down and 10. Just keeps on coming. Drops off the screen pass to DeMarco Murray, and he has rolled from behind. Chinasa, Hugo Chinasa, and as he talented, folks, you'll see him play on Sunday.
Brett, watch him on the left end. Watch him sniff this out right away before the ball is even thrown to DeMarco Murray. He started to chase down Murray rather, because of his instincts and the fact that he knew on third down that's a play that Oklahoma likes to go to. That play did not have a chance because of the athletic ability and speed at Chinasa.
So here is Tressway, 16 50-yard punts, and he just does get that off. Josh Cooper signals for the fair catch. A little bit of a juggle. He's got it at the 17, and now Herbie will take a look at the Cowboys' big 3.
And this is what everybody wants to see. Brandon Whedon, the 27-year-old, has had a great year. You can see the numbers, astronomical. Former minor league baseball player. Kendall Hunter is healthy this year. 6 yards a carry, which is key to this offense. And then, of course, Justin Blackman, a Biletnikoff finalist, the go-to man for him, number 81. But the great thing about Oklahoma State and Whedon is they have a number of receivers. He really likes to spread this offensive firepower around.
Bryant Ward from Stillwater is the fullback. He also was introduced here on senior day. They bring the jet motion, and they hand it off to you-know-who. All window dressing, and Beal. Number 44, folks. Keep an eye on the senior, Jeremy Beal. He and Frank Alexander. But Jeremy Beal, he could be the best defensive player in the Big 12.
Brent, great point, and it's so important tonight that Beal have a huge game. When you face this kind of offense that gets the ball out, it's about covering the underneath routes, disrupting the timing between Whedon and his receivers, and giving Beal and Alexander time to get after the quarterback.
And he has 29 career sacks overall for the Sooners. Second down and 12. Fake the end around. Here they drop it down underneath on the screen. Joseph Randall, the freshman running back. Next year, of course, he'll replace Kendall Hunter as the go-to back. He is a superb receiver. He has about 400 yards receiving, or as many as he does rushing.
Brent, you'll like this. Beal showing his versatility this time, not rushing, but dropping, something I'm sure he'll be doing quite a bit of at the next level. But just the athletic ability, 6'3", about 270 pounds, showing he can come off and play in space.
Yeah, Herbie, that was another great play by 44. 3rd and 5 from the gun. Offensive line holds up. First down toss. Comes to Josh Cooper, one of the inside receivers. Think Wes Welker with Dana Holgerson calling plays, formerly at Texas Tech in Houston.
Well, this is something Oklahoma's going to have to tighten up their coverage. Quentin Carter, a safety, is a veteran in the secondary. He was too soft that time on 3rd down and made it very easy for Josh Cooper to just turn. And Dana Holgerson, the first-year offensive coordinator, came over from Houston last year, dialed up the right call there on 3rd down.
Gundy called him the best play caller in the nation. That's why he went out and hired him with the new quarterback. Wheaton has all day. Offensive line gave him great time. Comes in underneath to Cooper. And Cooper's got the 1st and 10. You notice, Herbie, did you notice one thing with Holgerson? The small play card that he had. Remember Mike Leach with Texas Tech?
Absolutely. He's from that family tree. It's the difference here is the ability to run the football, and they throw a lot more down the field vertically. But I'll tell you, you better keep an eye on Josh Cooper. Blackman gets most of the attention, but number 25 is a playmaker.
Calls the plays right down on the field. Now they come back with Kendall Hunter to the 45-yard line on 1st down. Tony Jefferson, and there is that play calling card. Dana's brother played football at Northwestern for Gary Barnett. He was a teammate of Pat Fitzgerald, but his brother graduated before the Wildcats went to the Rose Bowl with Barnett. Scoreless now, and Dana, of course, like so many of these outstanding offensive coordinators, someday wants to become a head coach himself, and he has done a brilliant job down here. There from the pistol, they run the draw with Hunter, and not much doing against that OU defense that time.
He made a great point to us this week, and I think the big difference is when he was at Texas Tech, they ran the football about 17% of the time. So when Texas Tech would play Texas or Oklahoma, those defenses would key in on the passing game. Well, now at Oklahoma State, they're averaging about 45% of the time running the football, and it gives the defense more to deal with.
And on this play, they will put it up. Brandon Whedon patiently in underneath, short of the 1st down, and complete to Bowling. And he has 365 yards as a receiver. Another one of those small inside type guys.
That is a major accomplishment by both these defenses because of the ability and the big play potential of the offenses to come out early in this game and force a punt for both defenses. They stepped up and made the plays they needed to.
No, there it is. Broyles waits Sharp's punt. And Sharp likes to put it down inside the 20, which he does again. We'll be right back. It'll be OU's ball. Scoreless in Stillwater. So many people have told me this has been the best week of all of college football. Auburn's unbelievable comeback. Oregon in the rain again. Boise State losing that heartbreaker. Now, folks, with LSU losing, Herbie, Stanford could jump to number 4, and you know what that means.
Yeah, Stanford gets up into the top 4, even though they will not win the Pac-10. Oregon wins the Pac-10. Stanford will get an automatic spot as an at-large pick if you finish in the top 4, the final BCS standings. With those two teams losing in front of them, good chance they move up.
Now on 1st and 10, Landry Jones just drops it off to DeMarco Murray, and on 1st down picks up 9 yards. That is 7 straight passes. Now, can Kevin Wilson just continue to throw the ball all night, Herbie?
Well, no, he's going to eventually have to mix in the running game, but because they had a little bit of success on that play, it gets the tempo going. Now they get to the I formation and expect a run here from Murray.
Miller, the lead fullback, and DeMarco Murray bangs for the 1st down. So closing in on 1,000 yards rushing. He has 64 total TDs. That's an Oklahoma record. Another 500 yards receiving. I mean, you talk about a great all-around player. Remember, he too is a sensational kickoff return man. Play action. Enough of that run stuff, and Broyles steps out of bounds. Just, it appears from the head linesman, it's a little bit short of the 1st down.
Nice rhythm now to start this drive for the Sooners. Murray's such a big part of it, Brent. Not just running, but of course his ability to catch the football. And Oklahoma right now, it looks like they're going to stop action here. But you're right about Murray and what he's been able to do. You really look back in the last 5 games. He's caught 323 yards receiving, as much as 310 yards rushing. So really using him quite a bit out of the backfield.
Bob Stoops is so calm tonight. One of the Youngstown guys. Youngstown got an awful lot of attention last week when we were at Texas A&M. Here's a handoff, and Murray bangs for that 1st down. And Ori Lemon, the leading tackler, has 107 tackles coming into this game. Is in there defensively. Couldn't play last year because of an injury, and are they happy to have the big fella back?
He's the leader, and last year with that injury, they missed him.
Landry Jones, and there's a whistle prior to the snap. This is the officiating crew that was in College Station last week. This is Greg Burks, the referee.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And that's part of what Mike Gundy and his defense has to deal with. That time 12 men on the field, and when you go up against this up tempo, there are a few of them that run in the Big 12, but the Sooners run it as fast as anybody. You have to be conscious of trying to get people on and off the field and get lined up as quickly as you can.
Mike telling us he's now spending more time with the defense than the offense. Remember, he was the play caller until he hired Holgerson, and now he pays a lot of attention to the defense and the overall team. And DeMarco Murray is stopped by Mr. Lemon.
You know, one of the things Oklahoma last year dealt with 10 different offensive line combinations. Once the left side of the offensive line just get pushed back into the backfield. Justin Jent that time applied that pressure.
Here they come quickly on a play action. Dropped. Incomplete. Millard, the freshman from Columbia, Missouri, couldn't get the handle.
I think he started to peek downfield a little bit before he caught the football, because he knew that right there Martin was ready to lower the boom, and he's going to have to hold on for dear life, but unable to hold on to the football for the 1st down.
Here's 3rd and 4. Murray and the sensational freshman Finch step in.
Here's that new diamond formation they used quite a bit last week against Baylor. Very successful in the red zone and short yardage.
Now they took it from Holgerson. He's the one who designed it up here at Oklahoma State. They hand to Murray, and he picks up a 1st down to daylight. Just inside the 35-yard line, and Bill Young's defense not able to hold up. Blatnick finally gets back for the tackle.
Look at the blocks by the backs to lead the way. Millard picks up one block, then the true freshman Finch picks up another one right there, and that's actually what got Murray loose.
Across the 35-yard line, Nebraska awaits the winner next week in Dallas for the Big 12 championship, the last Big 12 championship game, because remember, Nebraska moving to the Big Ten. Colorado goes out to the Pac-10. Oklahoma State has never played in that game, and a win here will put them there. Their only loss this year at the hands of Nebraska. Oklahoma and Nebraska, ancient rivals, did not meet during the regular season. So whoever makes it to Dallas, it shapes up as a dandy next Saturday night in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Here from that diamond again. Landry Jones with great time. Here's Broyles, and Broyles on a tightrope on that far sideline is out of bounds, but they're into the red zone.
And here's the diamond formation. They've been showing a lot of runs the last couple of weeks. This time I think they catch Oklahoma State off guard, a little bit of play action, and you cannot lose Ryan Broyles, but the diamond formation sets up the big play.
In the 10 quickly, it's DeMarco Murray, and Murray picks up a couple of yards. Gent makes a stop. just outside the 6-yard line. Landry checks over to the Sooners sideline, and now Moses Madu comes into that backfield. He'll work alongside. He'll slip out now as a receiver. Roy Finch, number 22, will go back in that tailback spot as they readjust after looking at the defense. Reed, touchdown! Millard, the fullback, as they reset the formation, they were not expecting the fullback to carry, and the Sooners strike first.
Brent, Ori Lemon actually follows Finch. See how he follows him, and it opens it up right up the middle by Lemon taking himself out of the play, following Millard. It opened it up right up the middle and gave the lineman a lot easier way to be able to pick up those blocks and open up the running lane for Millard.
Jimmy Stevens on to attempt the extra point. How does it feel to see a touchdown?
It's been a while.
Battle of field goals last week at College Station. What a great ending for Texas A&M. Stunning Nebraska and Texas, and they'll be headed to a good bowl. We got a timeout in Stillwater.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. John Hancock, the future is yours. And Chevrolet.
Well, in 1917, at the age of 30, Jim Thorpe bought a small home in Yale, Oklahoma. He lived there with his wife until 1923. He was born in Oklahoma, member of the Sac and the Fox Indian tribe, of course, and then in 1904, he went up to the Carlisle Indian Industrial School, one of the greatest athletes that this country has ever produced, Jim Thorpe. Tressway is on to kick it off now for the Sooners, who have strike first, and they take a lead. The freshman Justin Gilbert lets it roll back to the 1. Got a long way to go to get back to the 20, and he just does with that speed. We mentioned Stanford as we've got a penalty flag. We'll sort that out here, but right now let's go to Robert Flores in our Times Square studio in New York for an update on Stanford. Robert.
Thanks, Brent. Hi, everyone. You keep watching this game. I've got updates from all across the country, starting with this one brought to you by Taco Bell.
Number 6, Stanford hosting Oregon State with LSU's loss earlier today. Cardinal trying to take advantage of the BCS standings. Here's a 3rd down conversion. Tack on 15 for the face mask. Led to a field goal. They're leading the Beavers 17-0. Brent.
Well, we had a personal foul on number 30 while you were away, and so they have moved the ball up to the 31-yard line. Take a look over here. Yeah, he was clearly out of bounds when he pushed it.
Javon Harris with a late hit, and they had Oklahoma State pinned pretty good, and now the Cowboys catch a break.
Now the swing pass to the outside, and Randall is out to the 40-yard line, so the Cowboys down by a touchdown, and they'll see what they can crank up. And we've got an injured Hoosier. Is that Jonathan Nelson? Now that is their second leading tackler. Jonathan's out of Arlington, Texas, and Bob Stoops can ill afford to lose him now. You know, as we look at Stoops and we've talked about Youngstown, just consider the head coaches right now out of this town from Ohio. Just consider Bob and Mike, of course, the 2 head coaches. Mark Stoops did a great job. And then from Youngstown State, the coaching alumni, Ohio State, Michigan State, South Florida, and Mark Mangino, the former Kansas, and of course the Pelini brothers, remember, were raised up there. What is in the water up in there, my friend? Where do these high-powered coaches come from?
Youngstown Cardinal Mooney is the high school that they all attended, and you want to talk about a great event over the summer that you have to come with me next summer. It's a bocce ball fundraiser that they do for the local. It is amazing. These guys are able to get away from everything, relax. They're all together, having a great time. Next year, you're in.
I'm there. We're going to sort this out now with Jonathan Nelson, the training staff, and now Bob Stoops is out there. Good to see the young man sitting up. We'll be right back. Well, Jonathan Nelson walked off, but Herbie, when you look at this, colliding with a teammate there, and he then watch his head hit the ground. And I think the medical staff is over there talking to him. Remember all of the talk about concussions, both collegiately and in the NFL, everybody being very, very careful. Javon Harris back at safety. and that's Whedon's first incompletion of the day to Bowling. He'd been perfect until that, and there over in the sideline is Nelson.
Sooners are doing a good job with the screen game and the underneath routes. That time Harris has stepped in, but number one on the other side, Tony Jefferson, who plays kind of a hybrid. He's a safety, also a nickelback. He stepped up that time and forced Whedon to hold on to the ball a little bit longer than he wanted to, and eventually they just didn't have anywhere to go and he had to throw it away.
When you think of Bob Stoops through the years against Mike Leach and Texas Tech, and of course that's where this offensive style came from, he has been extremely successful. Now he's on Whedon, and we've got another incompletion, Michael Harrison. And you might note one thing, folks, they haven't thrown one ball to Justin Blackman yet here tonight, and they are forced to punt again. The defense of Bob Stoops, coached by Brent Venables and Bobby Jack Wright, doing a terrific job.
Most of passes that he's attempting also underneath, where the Sooners have it completely covered.
Here is Sharp. Broyles back deep. Gets a nice return down that far side. And we will have to show the replay booth the tightrope walk that Broyles has down the sideline. Folks, you take a look at it with us. Did he step out?
If he stayed inbounds, that's
close out
yeah,
right there.
Yeah, and 3, 4. Definitely bring that one back. Feet were moving so quick. None of the officials down there could see it, but they'll definitely bring that back.
Yeah, the signal's gone down below.
They just showed it on the big screen here, so. Done a great job, like you mentioned, with this stadium.
During the return, the ruling on the field is he went out of bounds at the 45-yard line. First down, Oklahoma.
So they'll back it up back to the 40. You'll take a look at it. It is in Oklahoma territory.
He's right around a 32 or 33, it looks like, depending if they call that one. That one for sure. So it looks like the 33-yard line should come back to.
And I think it'll take still another look. They've got to make absolutely sure. You're exactly right, Herbie.
Yeah.
What yard line it was.
They're coming over to take another look. That was the call on the field, the 45, but it should go back about another 12 yard, 13 yards.
Well, I'm sure we've got some of the NFL fellas taking a peek at this one tonight. A lot of the teams that are on the road are getting ready for their Sunday games. And Monday night, it'll be the 49ers and the Cardinals. Someone's got to win the NFC West. 8:30 p.m. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served up by Applebee's. You know, we've been talking about Youngstown. Look who played for the Penguins. Ron Jaworski, you'll hear him on Monday night, second in school history. Believe it or not, the Rifle was more of a running quarterback, they tell me, at Youngstown. And, of course, Bob Davie, back in the 70s, was a tight end, 33 career receptions. So a couple of our announcers came from the Penguins. I don't know of any other Penguins.
I do.
Do you? You know some other
well,
people?
living in Ohio.
Yeah, you got some others?
Jared Zwick, who's
No. Other schools, I mean.
No.
Yeah,
They're the only Penguins out there. That's about it. That's about it.
No, I know there's a lot of fellas.
Yeah.
Runner stepped out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Good call, Herbie. You were right on that one.
There we go. But this game right now going the way Bob Stoops wanted it. Remember, Oklahoma State came in the #1 ranked offense in college football, and they've not been able to put any kind of rhythm or any kind of consistency together in their first couple drives, and it's because their offensive line's been a strength coming in tonight. But the Sooners have gotten Whedon into third down, and they've gotten pressure, and that's the big thing that I think he's avoided facing most this year. But these first couple drives, the Sooners have overwhelmed them.
I'm sure there's a lot of Cornhusker players and fans keeping an eye on this. Nebraska draws the winner next Saturday night in Dallas. And here comes DeMarco into the teeth of that. And Mr. Lemon was not fooled on that running play.
Yeah, this running game from Oklahoma is very important, and it's something that's been slow to come around because they also have been working with an offensive line that they've done a good job in pass pro, but just not quite as physical this year as they hoped they would be with so many new players up front this year.
Henry Jones hands it again, and DeMarco will not get there that time. because Sean Lewis, number 11, that freshman, and is he going to be a dandy?
They are really trying to establish DeMarco Murray in the running game, but penetration that time by Jones coming off the left end allowed Lewis to clean it up, but Oklahoma up front just not being able to sustain their blocks in the running game.
Let's see if they can find a target here. Need 6 on 3rd down. Steps up, in trouble, intercepted. Picked off by Oklahoma State. An ill-advised decision by Landry late because of the pressure that was being applied by Chris Donaldson, number 95.
Anytime you can get pressure like that with just rushing 4 guys, it forces Jones to step in and then to the outside. Obviously ill-advised. I think he thought he had enough on the football to throw it away from the defender, but boy, oh boy, he just did not have enough on it. Brown steps right in front of it, does a good job getting the left foot down for the interception, and Oklahoma State gets the big break that they needed.
Yeah, Herbie, Broderick Brown did a fine job on that. You pointed out keeping his foot in bounds. So for Landry Jones, that's his 8th interception of the season to go with his 30 touchdown passes. And now Whedon off the play action, gets time, finds the middle, and giving up ground on that play is Hubert Enium. That's his first catch of the game.
The weakness for Oklahoma's defense, I think, is over the middle. I remember we called the Missouri game a few weeks ago, and boy, it seemed like Missouri did a really good job of attacking right behind the linebackers and in between the safeties. I'm surprised Oklahoma State's not trying to throw the ball more vertically. That time they were able to pick up some yards, getting the ball downfield.
Yeah, he looks in Blackman's direction, but he comes back down and goes high to the middle and overthrew his receivers. Let's check in down below now with Aaron Andrews. Aaron?
Brent, just an update for you on Jonathan Nelson from Oklahoma that we saw being brought over to the sidelines with the apparent head injury. The school has taken his helmet away from him. He was talking to the physician, obviously doing the test for a potential concussion. He's walking around looking for it, but they clearly don't want him back on the field right now.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Jeremy Smith checks in. This is his first carry. He cuts back, breaks the daylight. Tackled at about the 7-yard line. Quentin Carter and Hurst in pursuit. And that Jeremy is a redshirt freshman from Tulsa.
Brent, we've been talking a lot of, and Aaron just talked about Jonathan Nelson not being in the game. That was a poor angle from Harris, the safety, coming up in run support. That time he missed his gap, and it allowed Smith to find an alley and picked up huge yards.
28 totaling for Smith on his first carry of the game. And now they come back with a handoff for a couple of yards, and they leave Jeremy out there.
This running game is so, for both teams, the quarterbacks and the passing game, and we talked about the kind of the 3-headed monster for both these offenses, and a lot of it is predicated upon the passing game. But whether it's Kendall Hunter, Joseph Randall, Jeremy Smith, that's been a big part of Oklahoma State's success.
The longer a wide receiver goes, Herbie, without touching or catching a pass, it always seems to work out. He's headed for a bad night.
30-second timeout. Their first of the half.
So they'll use a 30-second timeout over here. Well, we talked about yesterday, Jeremy, and I'm going to show you some of the images and get from you what you thought was the biggest story of the day. This is our Sony big picture from yesterday. Unbelievable comeback. Herbie, you were over there in Tuscaloosa, trailing 24-0 and beat Alabama. That seems like an impossibility to most folks. Then Oregon holding off a game Arizona team, winning it in the second half, and then the stunner late at night. Nevada knocking Boise State off its pedestal, and we will not see the Broncos, who gave us so much fun during the regular season in the BCS championship. They have fallen away. So, Herbie, what did you think?
Well, Boise State was a shocker considering they had the lead, but to be able to witness Cam Newton and the Auburn Tigers on the road in the Iron Bowl get tested, everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. They maintained their poise. Bama messed up, gave them a few breaks, and then Auburn comes back to survive, get to the SEC title. Cam Newton probably secures the Heisman, and they're a game away from getting now to the national title.
And here Oklahoma State is trying to get to the Big 12 championship against Nebraska. Play action. Whedon going to throw it away. He went to Blackman for the first time, and he's out of bounds. But did you notice the hands on the big fella. He's got 1,500 yards receiving. #1 in the nation with 156 yards a game and 17 TD. Look at these hands.
Just the athletic ability, the ball skills to go up. His left foot does not come down, but you're right. There's a sunshine scooter down there, but it looked like his not just the hands, just the timing to be able to go up there like that and to be able to secure the football. He's going to get going. It's just a matter of time tonight.
3rd down and goal for Whedon. We show blitz. Bring in heat. Line does a great job. Incomplete. Not a perfectly thrown ball to Josh Cooper that time, and the Sooners were coming, trying to make number 3 uncomfortable.
It's tough to execute when you get down inside the 5 and 10 yard line when you're going up against the Sooners defense. They're just matching up on routes, and even if Cooper was able to hold on to the football, there's still 2 defenders there for OU that would have been able to keep him short of that goal line.
Dan Bailey, the all-time Cowboys scoring leader. He's hit 22 of 26, and he's from the right hash. He's got a great leg. And he puts the Cowboys on the board. With the 23-yard field goal, 7-3. Sooner lead. Well, Quinn Sharp was the #1 kicker coming out of high school out of Mansfield, Texas. He's done a fabulous job of punting, but he doesn't have enough punts to qualify because of high-powered the Cowboy offense is. But here he is also handling the kickoff duties, and watch where he sails this one, folks. Big time leg, and Clay is told to take a knee. Let us go to Times Square in New York. Here's Robert Flores. Robert.
All right, Brett, AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Here's the nominee, Florida State quarterback Christian Ponder, 3 touchdowns, 221 yards. Final game at Doak Campbell, and it was a good one as the Seminoles snapped a 6-game losing streak, beating the Florida Gators. You can text VOTE to 345-345 to take part. Brett.
And Robert, a doubleheader win for the Seminoles because North Carolina State beaten by Maryland, and it means that Florida State will play Virginia Tech for the ACC championship next week. We got some schedule coming up. We'll show you what is on the menu next Saturday, and what a great defensive play by Broderick Brown, the young man who had that interception a short time ago.
Yeah, Brown, seeing that, he's just known as a fighter. He's undersized for a corner, but he's second on the team in tackles, and I think a lot of it has to do with that aggressive attitude that he has and the instincts. That time coming up on the true freshman and making a great play.
They have 14 interceptions, this defense. They lead the Big 12. Bill Young says we're going to force turnovers or we're not going to beat this team. Movement down in the line, and the line judge has got the flag thrown down there. See if Chris Donaldson moved or he was drawn offside.
Offsides. Defense, number 95. 5 yards
Donaldson.
penalty. 2nd down.
So next week it looks like this, and you want to be close to a couple of TVs. 3:30 at ABC. Oregon State, the Civil War. SEC championship will start a half hour after that. Auburn and South Carolina, Atlanta. Then the Dr. Pepper ACC championship on ESPN. Virginia Tech, Florida State, mentioned that. Connecticut can wrap up a BCS South Florida, and of course then later it's Nebraska against the winner of the South. There is the play action Finch. Landry throws high and incomplete, and DeMarco Murray was the intended receiver. Herbie, you wonder sometimes when a youngster like Landry throws an interception, he does get a little bit overly cautious after that for a while.
Yeah, and you know, I think, again, last year getting 10 starts to step in for Bradford. This year starting 11 games, and I think really becoming the rock of this offense. He'll be able to bounce back, but you're right, on the road it makes it a little bit tougher. Oklahoma State defense playing pretty well and kind of feeding off the crowd and the energy right now in the stadium.
So the Sooner coaches took a look at the defensive alignment. Now the defense changes a little bit, and it'll be Landry Jones under pressure, dropping it off for the 1st down and hitting Rattery.
3rd down, and when you're a tight end and you're facing zone coverage, you just got to sit in the hole. Wasn't really anything fancy, but for a big body, 6'3", about 245 pounds, good job of turning, sitting, and luckily for Oklahoma, Jones found him for the 1st down.
Cowboys trying to get there with 4 against Jones. Has plenty of time, throws high and incomplete. had Rattery again in the middle of that zone area, Herbie, but got that ball a little bit high.
Yeah, he got right behind the linebacker, Jen, and Jones made a pretty good throw on it. Rattery's got to be able to hold on to that football. And again, it's plays like this when you're on the road. You're trying to build some of that rhythm and try to get things going. You got to be able to secure a catch like that, get down and get ready for that big hit from the safety and hold on to the football.
Roy Finch, the freshman from the state of Florida, in that backfield. There's the diamond look again. Play action by Landry Jones. And complete to Millard, who scored the touchdown on a running play. But overall, Herbie, Landry Jones and the Sooners are preferring to throw against this Cowboy defense.
Well, I don't think the Oklahoma offensive line as of yet is able to control things with their running game, so they are almost have to manufacture things out of this diamond formation and multiple formations. This diamond formation, I think, is unique because it's still new enough that they've got enough wrinkles to be able to surprise Oklahoma State's defense.
Dana telling us that he came up with it to ensure one-on-one coverage with his outside receivers, i.e. Blackman. Landry tried to go and comes back deep, incomplete. And Kenny Stills had a step that time. Andrew McGee working on that, and down right now is the freshman Stills.
It's interesting you bring that up, Brent, about one-on-one coverage because it was maximum pass protection and a slant and then go, and Stills actually has McGee beat. The ball slowed him down just a bit and allowed McGee to catch up and eventually get his right hand in there to be able to knock the ball away from Stills.
Yeah, Holgerson, in diagramming that for us, Herbie, he showed the safeties coming up because they have to be aware of the run in that situation, and the corners are out there on an island. Now, we've got Cooper back deep for Way's punt, and what a beautiful punt. Fair catch, and he's got another one inside the 20-yard line. That's the 17th punt of the year that Way has nailed inside. Well, the Big Ten Conference three-way tie, Herbie, and it looks like the tiebreaker will be the BCS a week from tomorrow. But I've got to believe that the Badgers will hang on to their lead and head to the Rose Bowl.
I mean, when you're scoring 70 points a week, I can't imagine how they're going to lose ground in the BCS standings. I would agree with you. Now, the final BCS standings obviously aren't this Sunday, but next week. But without any of these three teams playing, you would assume that Wisconsin would advance with the three-way tie and advance out to Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. And Ohio State probably gets an at-large spot in the BCS.
The 27-year-old Brandon Whedon, he's had good time from his offensive line and looked like he threw that incomplete. It may have gotten down on the ground to Josh Cooper that time. Looks like it might have been catchable. Hard to tell from right up here. Let's take another look at this, Herbie.
Yeah, it looked like the ball obviously low. He tried, one thing about Josh Cooper, he's got probably the best set of hands, he and Justin Blackman, and sometimes the ball just with a little bit of velocity. Remember Brandon Whedon, when he was pitching for the Yankees and the Dodgers, threw a 97-mile-an-hour fastball when he was picked in that second round.
And then he wound up his minor league career with the Kansas City Royals. So he played for 3 organizations in 5 years before coming back here. And now that is Jeremy Beal, number 44, bringing down Randall.
And Beal's going to make a lot of plays, but this is what he's been facing all year, fighting through double teams. Look at him be able to, oh, actually, he's on the outside. I apologize. That's Frank Alexander that's trying to endure that. He got blown off the ball, and Beal left to the outside. They've been actually moving him around almost like an outside linebacker that time, and they've been doing that a lot here in the first quarter. He was freed up and made it easier for him to make that play.
So Joseph Randall, who's a fine receiver, he'll flare now. Whedon will still go downfield, deflected, incomplete, picked off on the deflection that time by Quentin Carter, and that's the 11th interception of the year. Credit the freshman Tony Jefferson with deflecting that ball.
What an athletic play by Tony Jefferson. Carter gets the attention, but it is all Tony Jefferson sitting back in the zone, actually starts to go towards the flat, sees the football, and does a great job of just bouncing back to the inside, getting his right hand on the ball, and that's what you practice every day, the tip drill. Carter easily is able to come up with that, and another big turn of events here with a turnover. This time it's for the Sooners.
See if they can cash in now. Murray and Finch are both in that backfield for Landry Jones. Pressure coming. Hand off to Finch. Finch breaks that first tackle, gets to the second level, down to the 24. Good first down play. Gent finally making the stop.
Kevin Wilson really liking the matchups and what this diamond is creating, not just the one-on-one matchups, but I think it's helping them try to establish a running game and become a little bit more balanced in their attack tonight.
2nd down and 4. Again, it's the freshman Finch trying to battle for the 1st down, but Sean Lewis holds him away.
You gotta love the little guy, don't you? True freshman Finch.
I'm telling you.
Great compliment.
That was freshman on freshman.
Oh, yeah. Great compliment to DeMarco Murray.
An injured player now. Chenesa is down. Hugo Chenesa. And we've already seen him make an impact in this game, and he's shaken up on the play. So he will have to come off to the sideline, being tended to. The Sooners, of course, earlier in this Bedlam game, lost Jonathan Nelson, their safety. But then one of the young men who backs him up from Chula Vista, California, Tony Jefferson, makes a big play. Well, let's see what happened to number 91 here, right at the top.
Up at the top right-hand corner. Low block by Millard.
That's the right knee.
Got stuck underneath Millard.
Oh, that one looked a little nasty. That knee was really bending, wasn't it? No, good to see this, but let's hope it doesn't tighten up over here on the sideline now on him. Richardson, Texas, big-time player. 3rd down and short is coming up for the Sooners in this situation. They've thrown the ball 17 times already here tonight and run only 11. First quarter has come to an end, and this presentation is presented by Southwest Airlines. Back after this message and word from our ABC stations.
It's intense, crazy. It's going to be electric. Our fans hate their fans. There's nothing like it. There's a lot of red and a lot of orange in the state, and everybody loves college football. You know, around here, you're the crimson or, you know, you're that ugly orange. It's a different year, and everything can happen. You know, you never know what's going to happen. That's why I call it Bedlam.
And Bedlam it is in Stillwater here, with Oklahoma leading 7-3. They have won the last 7. And the winner of the South will play Nebraska next week in Dallas for the final Big 12 championship. 1st down and 10. Landry Jones and the Sooners. DeMarco Murray to the 13-yard line before he is brought down.
You know, it's DeMarco Murray, already his 10th touch in this football game. You can kind of sense right now that they're starting to realize that DeMarco Murray, if you can get him a little bit of a seam and a chance to be able to make some moves, he can do some damage against this Cowboys defense.
Over 6,000 all-purpose yards, coming again, picking up another one. Lewis makes the stop, but of course he broke Steve Owens' 41-year-old touchdown record earlier in the year, and now he goes after a shoe. We've got a flag also on this play.
And it was funny, before this is leading up to the next play. I mean, he's trying to get his shoe on. This is from the previous carry, and eventually the play's being called. He's about to get another handoff. He doesn't have his left shoe on, and he could not. It's one thing. That's one way to slow him down. He can't get that shoe on. Better off running without it.
And the Cowboys are being penalized to the 6-yard line. Gent drew the flag that time. There's Murray over on the sideline. It means that Roy Finch has replaced him as the running back. And of course, they have already scored on the ground once tonight. Gent coming up to make the stop on Millard. Not only has Millard scored a touchdown, Herbie, but on that one lead play of Murray that you showed, he threw another key block on the outside, and they come right back with Finch. Trip, battling, and back to the 2-yard line.
Well, Finch gives you everything that he has, and again, he's a great compliment because DeMarco Murray's more of a glider. Great vision, great patience, more of a zone blocking type of back. And with Roy Finch, even though he's undersized at 5'8", 180, he's not hesitating. He gets his hands on the football, and he is bursting up inside the line and trying to fight for yards.
Murray back on the field. Terrific receiver. Goes out to the left side. Touchdown. Oklahoma scores in the air, and it is Broyles, member of the Big Three, Ryan Broyles, his 13th touchdown of the season.
And these variety of formations right now giving Bill Young and Oklahoma State fits. This is a matchup that Landry Jones and Oklahoma will take every single time. One of the top receivers in the country matched up against a bigger safety in Martin at 6'1", about 205 pounds. Pitch and catch for Jones to Broyles.
And now Jimmy Stevens trots on again. He's hit all 41 of his extra points this year. He is now 42 of 42 as we take a break. Bedlam is swinging the way of the Sooners. You're watching Saturday Night Football on ABC.
Brent, I mentioned a good job that Oklahoma's doing, and here's Murray. He's going to go in motion and it attracts a lot of attention from the linebackers. Stills is going to go here, but here's the matchup and the touchdown eventually, and the matchup that Oklahoma wants every time. Broyles gets to the corner, but see the motion, you see the action, you notice how everybody has to pay attention to all the motion that's coming towards them, and it frees up Broyles one-on-one with Martin. And again, great play, well designed by Kevin Wilson and the Oklahoma staff.
Productive in the red zone, way with the kickoff. And it is going to be fielded by Gilbert, the freshman. Down at the 26-yard line as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary from this Big 12 South showdown. The Sooners with 5 drives and a couple of touchdowns, but Oklahoma State has been stalled.
And this is a Oklahoma State offense. It is #1 in the country, 552 yards a game, 45 points a game, which is 3rd in the country. And up to this point, because of that interception that they were able to pick up and get good field position by Brown, that's the only score.
They have 62 touchdowns coming into this game, Herbie, and had to settle for a field goal with good field position after the turnover. Now Whedon coming back, slices it in, finally gets Blackman going. Justin Blackman, #1 in the nation with 156 yards per game. Jamel Fleming, and he limps off. He comes off. Remember, he has been a little gimpy for them.
And Hurst is in one-on-one coverage. Oklahoma, who's become more of a blitzing team with the trust that they now have in Hurst and Fleming on one side to the other. That time they just didn't quite get home to Whedon, and it allowed him to throw that for big yards.
Back again behind this offensive line, throwing beautifully to Josh Cooper this time. And Herbie, we've got to talk about these guys up front right now. Martinez, Rush, Garner, Taylor, Adcock, as we send you down below to Aaron.
Brent, just an update on Justin Blackman. Before the game, I spoke with wide receiver coach Gunnar Brewer about that ankle. He was in a hard cast for most of the week, didn't practice until Thursday and Friday. And like in my interview with Mike Gundy, they didn't know what to expect from him. Right now, he's trying to walk off the pain on the sidelines.
Hunter is in the game, throwing, and it's picked off. Picked off again by Quentin Carter. And Whedon was being pressured by the Sooner defense. Austin Box, a middle linebacker, came free on him, and now he's hurt.
Brent, this is a change-up by Brent Venables. They're typically a 4-3 team. Now they go to 3 down linemen. They walk up 2 outside linebackers. Here's Lewis. Carter eventually disguising and gets free, but it's a change-up. It's a different look. Caused enough confusion. Box comes in free, and it forced Whedon to just get rid of the football. Again, another change-up here by the Sooners, catching Oklahoma State off guard. Poorly thrown ball, and they just weren't on the same page. Cooper broke his route off.
And the Box was coming in real low on that leg, too, when he came free off that corner. First down and 10 now for Landry. That's a lateral. And he put it in the hands of Finch. I want to go back on this interception. It's the second of the night, remember, by Carter. Now watch the quarterback. And he makes a fine interception. Here is second down. Here's the handoff. Finch can't get the corner. Now, I want to watch this time, Herbie. Just watch the hit on Whedon. It looks like when he pushed into him, he took an awkward step back.
Yeah, I don't think it was any malicious contact by Box. He kind of threw his left hand in. He gave the feel as if he was going to come in low. But I think, yeah, he kind of landed on it a little bit awkwardly. Big third down here for both teams.
And Murray checks in for the Sooners. Outstanding receiver. Landry Jones looks away. Picked off. That's a pick six, folks. Sean Lewis, the freshman linebacker. Touchdown. Forgive me if I called that a little bit premature.
No, man. You're all over it. I'll tell you, talking about being locked in, Landry Jones locks into his receiver on third down, and he telegraphs this and allows Lewis to just step right in front of it and come up with the big interception. That's Landry Jones' 7th interception in 5 road games this year.
And here is Dan Bailey, almost automatic with an extra point. All-time scoring leader here for the Cowboys. What a turning point this is. A 48-yard pick six. Now it's 52.
Remember what Bill Young told us? They're going to have to create turnovers to be able to stay in this game and eventually maybe win it.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The new Ford F-150. Visit bcstailgate.com for your chance to win the ultimate tailgate F-150. And Citizen Echo Drive, fueled by light, it never needs a battery. Unstoppable, just like the people who wear it.
Some of the greatest college wrestlers in history have come out of this part of the country, and the National Wrestling Hall of Fame is right here. And what a great collection of memorabilia covering the entire history of the oldest sport. And the Pistol says, that's it. Offense can't score, but the defense did. Let's keep it going. So 2 turnovers by Landry Jones have resulted in 10 points. And Quinn with the ball on the tee, and here we go again. Trey Franks is going to come out. The big hole. 35. Fumble. Sooners recover it at the 44-yard line. The Sooners hang on to that loose football. I believe Hannah is down here near this ball. Watch and see now.
Yeah, Brent Hanna is actually doing a good job of trying to fight to make some blocks, and he looks like he's locked up there with Gilbert, but alertly sees the ball on the ground and saves Oklahoma from yet another turnover. See how Landry Jones bounces back from that last pick six.
Throws right away, and that ball is dropped. That's incomplete pass. There's no question about that. That was Trey Franks, the young man who lost the ball coming out with the kickoff, and Martin got to him that time on coverage. Coaches are not going to be very happy when he turns the ball loose twice.
And Brent, this is not a good throw by Landry Jones. It's towards the defender. When you have
And quickly, Broyles comes around. And there is so they come back up just short of that first down on third down. Handoff to Finch, who battled for the first down against Lemon, the veteran linebacker. And now he's a little gimpy coming up. Hard-hitting football game here in Stillwater tonight. You go to the sideline.
You know, last week he took a big hit late against Baylor. They feared it might have been a concussion. It ended up just being a stinger. He's had a good week of practice, but Ori Lemon that time doing a good job of fighting through some blocks to at least make Finch fight to see if he comes up with his first down.
Jarka back on the field as a defensive lineman as they bring out the chains.
Wow. About as close as you can get right there.
I can't get any closer than that. By inches.
Well, one thing I was saying that, and I didn't mean this fast-paced offense, sometimes you just got to stop talking, but when you have a receiver on a short route like that, you cannot lead him downfield and basically throw him towards a defender. You have to throw that ball to the backside shoulder to give him a chance at the ball.
And he comes back with a fresh set of downs. Under pressure, throws incomplete, and he overthrew as Donaldson was applying heat again on the quarterback. So he's coming free several times against this offensive line.
Oklahoma State doing a great job right now, and I think Landry Jones helping him. Right now he is out of rhythm. He's not feeling very confident even when he has time to throw. He's not zoned in right now on throwing accurate balls to these receivers.
2nd and 10, 4 wide receivers for Kevin Wilson of the Sooners. Tried to set it in underneath to Murray, and DeMarco picks up another first down.
But how about how he, in the open field, DeMarco Murray, this move right there, he just runs back and then accelerates downfield. But that little move backwards, it allowed him to be able to get around the defender and then accelerate upfield.
Play action fake to Murray, and now a sack. Landry Jones is going down, and coming in is Darius Hart. Came in for Chennesaw, and he will make the sack.
And Frank, Ori Lemon at the top of your screen actually defends Broyles, who is exactly where Landry Jones wanted to go with the ball. That's a great coverage sack that time by the Cowboys.
Puts him in 2nd and 19. DeMarco will try to get some of them back, and he does just that. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage here for the Sooners. The 3rd down and manageable coming up.
3rd and manageable with Bob Stoops' reputation. This sometimes could be 4-down territory if they have some success here. Pick up maybe 4 or 5 yards. It'd be just like Bob Stoops to go for it here in this situation.
Looked like Justin Gent was leaning in to hear that signal. Here come the linebackers. Middle pressure and incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down and 10. So the 2 freshman receivers, Stills and Franks, have not been hanging onto the ball here lately. And Landry Jones will go off to the sideline. Take a look at this.
Yeah, tight coverage this time, the quick slant, and you're right, it's the 2nd time we've seen this. Stills got to be able to hold on to the football, but coverage pretty good by Oklahoma State. You like to see them realizing the down and distance and tightening up the coverage to not make the throws easy for Landry Jones.
So Tressway will try to bury the Cowboys back inside the 20. Remember now, he's had 21 punts inside the 21 earlier here tonight. And there's a flag, and the play is stopped. And let's see if that's a 5-yard penalty against the Sooners.
Dead ball, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
We'll give him a little more punting room. He said regular punt, I believe, on this. Wants to make sure that his protection is set. Hangs it high, going toward the end zone. Drops inside the 5, but there's another penalty flag.
And I think he may have roughed the punter, Tressway.
Personal foul.
That's personal foul.
The kick on the
down.
defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's Justin Gilbert, a freshman from Huntsville, Texas.
And think about this. You're basically in safe punt return.
I have no question. You got to call that.
Yeah.
You can injure a punter doing that. I know he didn't intend to. He was up in the air and lost his balance. But you got to protect the punter.
Talk about a big turn of events depending on what happens here. You got a 14-10 game. Defense playing their hearts out. Come up with a 4th down. You're out there. Going to get the football back.
And then to have that mental error, boy, that one, we'll see how the Oklahoma State defense is able to return now.
Murray and Finch are in that backfield. Finch is right behind Landry Jones, and he'll get the handoff on a cutback. And he's brought down by Lemon.
Just watching this Oklahoma offensive line and remembering this game last year where Oklahoma had walk-ons playing on the offensive line. They had a tight end playing at center, and this year, instead of having 10 different offensive line combinations, they've been able to have the same group all year, but still not real physical and able to blow off Oklahoma State on the line of scrimmage.
Here is Finch. Runs away from the first man, but not Johnny Thomas, the junior safety from Texas City, Texas, number 12.
Trying to go back to the diamond formation, which they had some success with in the first quarter, but Oklahoma State and Bill Young making some adjustments and not getting outflanked, getting to the outside and be able to corral Oklahoma's ball carriers when they get set up in that formation.
Looking in Broyles' direction, comes back underneath, and that time he hit number 6 coming out. And that is Cameron Kinney, the senior. So they put the veteran in instead of the freshman right there, and they go to the senior.
And this time, the soft coverage, making it easy. It's one of the few times we've seen an error like that from Oklahoma State. They brought pressure, and the corner that time was way backed off of Kinney, and it made it very, very simple for Landry Jones to read him, identify him, and make the throw.
Play action, Murray, throw middle. And Kinney's got it for the score. Second touchdown pass for Landry Jones here tonight. Cameron Kinney hangs on to the ball.
What a great job, not just getting it to Kinney, but right there, the safety, Thomas, who was in the throwing lane. Landry Jones had this a great look at it. Watch him throw it over top of the safety. Perfectly timed up football, and how about the touch by Landry Jones to find his man Kinney in the back of the end zone.
Stevens tacks on the extra point, his third of the night. 21-10 Oklahoma. Time for a question. It's time to stop Herbie's win streak. What year and in what town did this rivalry get the nickname Bedlam? And my friend, you are a major long shot on this one.
Hey, you dropped the hammer this week. You dropped the gauntlet.
You betcha.
Yeah, I will look forward to the answer.
We'll do it right after this kickoff, my friend. And Tressway will kick this one away. Sort of an interesting story, actually. It does go way, way back to the last century. And this kickoff is fielded by Johnny Thomas. A beautiful kickoff. And he can't get back to the 20. He's short of the 15-yard line. And so, Herbie, here is the answer. You go back early in the last century. 1904, and they played it in Guthrie, Oklahoma. That was the first capital of the territory. Oklahoma was not even a state when they played the first Bedlam. And here it is. The punt was blown behind the punter and out of the end zone. And in those days, it wasn't a safety like it would be now. Went into Cottonwood Creek, and the Sooners go down and they jump into that water, and there's a scrum, and they got it, and they win it 75-0. Can you believe that?
Oh,
and that were the rules of the time.
That sounds like Bedlam to me.
It was Bedlam. That's how it was described by journalists the next day.
End of the creek.
Here we go. Cottonwood Creek up there on the old Guthrie. All right, here's Whedon now. And he's under pressure again. Steps away from it this time. And throws incomplete. Blackman. Let's go to Robert Flores in New York. Robert.
All right, Brent, update from Los Angeles. Notre Dame goes on a 16-play drive, chewed up 8 minutes of the clock. Tony Reese to Michael Floyd, and they lead 7-3, but they're at the 1 right now, less than 15 seconds to play in the first half. Stanford leading Oregon State 24-0. Andrew Luck, 3 touchdown passes for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Stanford pummeling Oregon State. Their eye on number 4 this week in the BCS, with both Boise and LSU having lost. So Harbaugh will keep the hammer down. Almost picked off again. And that was Jefferson, that talented freshman.
Well, because of this pass rush, and Jefferson's a great player, but Whedon, as much success as he's had, he's never faced this kind of pressure. Now he's starting to throw off of his back foot, and he's feeling the heat. Of course, here comes Beal again, Alexander, King getting in there. When you throw off your back foot, you don't put the same amount of velocity on the ball, and Jefferson almost undercut that, stepped in front of it for another interception.
3rd down and 10 for the Cowboys. Drops it in underneath that time, but Alexander was there to seal it up along with Lewis. So that was very well defended on that pass.
Right now the Sooners, and Brent Venables right there, the defensive coordinator, really good job of taking away the underneath things. And Oklahoma, at least on that series, really bullied the Oklahoma State offensive line and got the pressure.
And Broyles will try to give the Sooners excellent field position here again. Fields it at the 45, and he'll go down at the 44-yard line. So we'll take a break. Strong first half for Boomer Sooner. When the visitors arrived, they said they came in peace. They lied. ABC's V returns Tuesday, January 4th on ABC. So here we go. Sooners are 56 yards away. DeMarco Murray. And he's thrown out of bounds by Thomas. Johnny Thomas over there on the far side. Very important here, wouldn't you think, Herbie, for the Cowboys to hold on defensively?
Yeah, this is big. This defense has played well, but at the same time, they've had it a lot of times try to defend Landry Jones deep in their own territory. It's a big series.
Jones gets it off to Broyles. Broyles shakes the defender. Comes across midfield, and Mr. Lemon.
What a year for Ryan Broyles. It's just amazing to see over 100 receptions on the year and chance to go over 1,400 yards tonight, averaging about 12 yards a catch, and do a great job of mixing it up and moving him around.
Oklahoma with 2 timeouts remaining. Landry Jones is in trouble and throws this one. Deflected, intercepted if he was in the air. He was past the out-of-bounds line, but he may have been in the air. And Sean Lewis, who scored on a 52-yard pick six, may have his 2nd interception of the night. Take a look at this one, Herbie.
Unbelievable effort here. This is something you do when you're clowning around playing in the backyard. Brown goes airborne, and I don't think he stepped out of bounds. How about the awareness by Lewis? Lewis does a good job. No, that is a clean play by Brown. Goes up over the out-of-bounds line, knocks the ball right to his defender. Intentionally done. Outstanding play by Broderick Brown.
I want to see that one on SportsCenter as one of the plays.
Are you kidding me?
That was unbelievable.
That's the play of the weekend.
Wow, what? Broderick Brown, he's out of the Houston area. He's only 5'8". What a vertical the sophomore showed on that. This is a remarkable play. Looks in all the world like there's a penalty flag.
Just what you don't want to see for Oklahoma State. I think there's movement up front of the offensive line. You know,
False start. Number 68 of the offense. 5-yard penalty.
I think the only time I remember something like this, I think Carlos Dansby for Auburn one time made a play like this in a bowl game where he went airborne like this, but not that spectacular. I mean, that was one of the most amazing plays I've ever seen. Not just to time it up, but to deliberately knock it right to Lewis.
Now 1st and 15 after the mistake. So Whedon in the offense, they continue to struggle. Defense trying to keep in the game, and they finally going to try to give him a dose of Kendall Hunter. But Joseph Randall has been more of the go-to running back here tonight. Blackman has only 1 reception. So the big 3 for the Cowboys are quiet against this Brent Venables defense.
It's interesting. This Oklahoma State offensive line, it's been talked about a lot as being a strength, but tonight in many of these series been overmatched by Oklahoma in that speed.
Rush only 3, make Whedon throw a hard incomplete, and the receiver that time was Harrison. Made a diving effort. 3rd and 14.
Not only did Oklahoma lose Gerald McCoy, who went to the NFL and playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but also not having a lot of their players that Adrian Taylor, Daniel Noble they expected to have, but they've had to deal with injuries. They've had to move defensive ends into the inside, but they're holding up very well so far tonight.
And they lost Jonathan Nelson to a head injury. They defined safety here earlier in this game, and he hasn't been back. And prior to that, play is stopped again. There's a penalty flag. Ugly looking offense here.
False start. Number 73, the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah, Mike Gundy won't be happy with what he's seen, and Dana Holgerson, he's the coordinator down there on the field. Oklahoma State with only 103 yards. Remember, they average better than 500 a game. But like I told you through the years, nobody was more effective against Mike Leach's offense, which was taken from Hal Mumme to begin with, than Bob Stoops. Stoops has always been outstanding against this wide open look. Throw a screen to Blackman, and there's another flag.
It's one thing to have to deal with Bob Stoops and Brent Venables. It's another when you start to self-destruct. They've been one of the most penalized teams.
Personal foul, chop block, number 70 of the offense. Penalties declined, 4th down.
That's Jonathan Rush, the left guard, guilty on that.
So after that big interception and the emotion of that play, they go 3 and out and give the ball right back to the Sooners.
And the Sooners have plenty of time. They're going to get it with 4 minutes. And Broyles is back again. Here is Sharp. Signaling fair catch, and he makes it inside the 10-yard line. Well, the Dr. Pepper rivalry series, unrivaled competition. Nebraska awaits the winner in Texas. Now, they did not play Oklahoma this year. They came in here, Nebraska did, and they beat Oklahoma State, put 51 points on them. And of course, last week Nebraska lost at College Station, and if Oklahoma wins, be a 3-way tie. You'll go all the way down to the BCS rankings, and it's believed by many that Oklahoma will hold the edge, but we shall see. And that's tomorrow night at 8:15 on ESPN. Here's a handoff to Finch, and Finch is wrestled down by Lewis.
Brent, one thing that, and I know Oklahoma State, chances are the winner of this game is going to advance and play in Dallas, but how about the year that Gary Pinkel and Missouri had? 10-2, what a great year. And also Texas A&M winning their last 6 to get to 9 wins, maybe 10 when they go to a bowl game. 2 good stories this year in the Big 12.
No doubt. 2nd down and 5. Finch on the cutback, and Johnny Thomas comes right over the top. Good hard-hitting safety.
And I'm sure Kevin Wilson is seeing the same thing. Right now they've had so much success either running the football or throwing the ball underneath this Oklahoma State defense that I think it's time that they start to try to stretch the Cowboys vertically with some plays downfield, either to Stills or to Broyles. Most of where they've been attacking is about 5 to 10 yards downfield.
Pulls it away from DeMarco Murray, and Millard is thrown down by Andrew McGee, the corner, who read that play perfectly.
When you throw the ball out in the flat like that, you've got to give your receiver a chance. He's a little bit late here, and it gives McGee plenty of time to come up there and almost dislodge the football. But the quarterback that time, Jones, he's got to get the ball out of his hands quicker to give Millard a chance to turn and have a chance to fight through that tackle.
So Tressway is back, and Josh Cooper, the wide receiver from Mustang, Oklahoma. He awaits it back at the 40-yard line of the Cowboys. Got that one off. And it'll be out of bounds on that far side. So there's where it's going to be marked by the official at the 41, as we remind you that coming up on the Capital One halftime report, John and Jesse will have all the day's big highlights. What a weekend this has been. And the Big Ten heads to the BCS rankings. The Big 12, of course, added a wrinkle. You remember that brouhaha that was caused between Texas and Oklahoma? when Oklahoma was awarded a spot in the Big 12 championship game, but Texas actually beat them head-to-head. Well, this year, if you finish within one spot of the rankings, head-to-head will matter. And so let's say that Oklahoma State stays one ahead of Oklahoma by some fluke, the computers or whatever, then it would go to head-to-head. And here's a play fake by Whedon. Whedon's guy's got Blackman open. Blackman at the 10-yard line. He got him open. The safety was just a touch late, getting over the top to help out that time.
One-on-one coverage, and Blackman just gets right behind Hurst. And you're right, Carter just a little bit late getting over to help out Hurst, but Hurst didn't do anything to slow Blackman down at the line of scrimmage. He went right around him and accelerated downfield.
With 2 minutes to go here in the first half, biggest offensive play of the game. Come back with Kendall Hunter. Hunter strong. First and goal at the 3-yard line before Lewis can bring him down for the Sooners. And here come the Cowboys now.
This is the Cowboys offense. This is what they've been doing most of this year. Vertical plays to Blackman, sets up big plays in the running game by Kendall Hunter.
First down and goal. Still from that shotgun look. Bryant Ward, the lead fullback, and Hunter won't get there. This will be second down and goal. That looked pretty much jammed up, didn't it, Herbie, from the get-go?
Yeah, Ronald Lewis did a good job. You know, they'd moved him as an outside linebacker down to a defensive end, and time he's able to get some penetration and bring Hunter down, actually pull him down from behind. And if you're Oklahoma State, you don't mind working a little bit of clock right now.
Smith has checked in as the running back, and he'll get a call. Touchdown! Off the bench, it is Jeremy Smith, the redshirt freshman from Tulsa, and the Cowboys climb right back in it.
He's got a different look, doesn't he, when Jeremy Smith gets the football, Brent? Hunter's a powerful guy, low center of gravity, but Jeremy Smith just appears to be a little bit bigger, lowers that shoulder, and can run through some tackles.
Exactly. Dan Bailey. Tacks on still another extra point. We're sitting on a 4-point game right now. 108.
At that time, the offensive line did a much better job on that series, and it really got started by being able to get the receiver Blackman downfield. And when he accelerates down around Hurst, Hurst doesn't do anything to either reroute him or at least run with him. See how Blackman went right by him? Whedon's able to put it right between the safety, Carter, and in the corner, Hurst. And here's the offensive line. After the big pass play, the next 2 or 3 plays, they started to come off the ball much harder. And, of course, we talked about Jeremy Smith. When he gets his shoulders squared, he's a handful.
Blackman now, Herbie, has caught 3 passes for 62 yards. He averages 156 yards a game. And that lifts the spirits of the offense tremendously.
Remember, Oklahoma State does get the football in the second half, to start the second half.
The first 5 minutes of the second half in a game like this. Short kickoff. Fielded at the 27. So Landry Jones and the offense will have it at the 32. And we have mentioned this. And a reminder that tomorrow night at 8:15 Eastern, you'll find out the unveiling of the new BCS rankings. Who jumps to number 4? Will it be Stanford? How about high-powered Wisconsin? The way Brett Bielema and that offense has been putting points up. Now, Auburn and Oregon certainly will play. They'll maintain their lead 1 and 2, Herbie, and TCU figures to be number 3, and Roy Finch comes in as the Sooner running back. Gonna put it up. Find a seam. Across midfield is Kenny again. What a difference he has made off that bench.
Well, Kenny doing a good job. Andrew McGee just a little bit late reacting to that throw, and it allowed Kenny to make that catch and then get upfield for even more yards.
Sooners don't sit on it for the last minute. Drop off that little flanker screen to the 41-yard line. Now, if they have to go to the long field goal, Patrick O'Hara has hit a 45-yarder. He has a little bit longer leg than Jimmy Stevens. His long is 42 yards. 38 seconds. There is O'Hara. He's 4 of 6 with 45 yards being his long one. And Stevens also. We're going to reset that game clock right now. And Oklahoma has one timeout remaining here, Herbie. But you know, Oklahoma, they've won 7 straight. They just feel good about themselves when they play Oklahoma State.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I think even early in this game, kind of going back and forth, and looked like Oklahoma may pull away, but got to give Oklahoma State a lot of credit. Anytime you play at home, you've got to be able to fight back and fight through the emotions, which they've been able to do. This is pivotal right here towards the end of the half. We mentioned Oklahoma State does get the ball to start the second half. Be interesting to see how this first half ends, but we got a long way to go in this football game, that's for sure.
You didn't get any powder burns sitting next to Lee Corso on that set when he was firing that pistol, did you?
I can tell you, those guns are loud. They are loud.
He looked great when he put on a pistol piece.
Said it's 45 pounds, by the way.
Oh, I could tell. 2 guys were standing on each side there. Here's DeMarco Murray. Landry drops it into DeMarco's arms, trying to get out of bounds.
Doesn't get out of bounds. Clock stops with a first down. And remember, this is Oklahoma. This is what they practice all the time. They're one of these offenses that they're very comfortable in this kind of setting, but it comes down to decision making, of course, by Landry Jones.
Rush 3, incomplete. Had a man in the hole down deep, too, and that was Hannah.
They snuck the tight end right behind the linebacker, Gent, and they had exactly what they wanted. And just a matter of Jones and the tight end, Hannah, trying to get on the same page.
My Sooner fans have to love this. OU didn't run the clock out. They just came right back down the field. We can't get 7. We're going to get 3 out of this here late. Landry Jones. Across the 30 to the 29-yard. Number 6 has been the go-to man coming in off the bench when the freshman started to drop the football. And here's 3rd and 5
now.
Use
the timeout there, Brent.
Middle. And that is Hannah. So they come back to him when they saw how wide open he was. What a great sequence here in the last minute.
Yeah, and they used their last timeout, and they went right back to Hannah in that hole behind the linebackers where they've had some success. Hannah a couple times has been in there unable to hold on to the football. That time he does. The clock stopped at the first down, but also Oklahoma still deciding to use their last timeout. That is a tight window and a great job that time by Hannah of holding on to the football. So you got to do. Martin's coming in. You know he's going to lower the boom. Give yourself a chance to protect yourself and protect that football. But you're right, Brent. Sooners, instead of just killing the clock, they go right down, at the very least, get into field goal range.
You have a terrific drive orchestrated by offensive coordinator Kevin Wilson. And Landry Jones, of course. He led the way.
It's amazing. You watch these offenses that go up-tempo for 4 quarters. They get into a 2-minute drill, and it's their comfort zone. You know, they're not in a panic at all.
John Nimmo, number 5, will put it down for Stevens. Stevens is a junior from Oklahoma City. From the right hash for the 7-point lead. Slides it through 29 yards. Impressive as time runs out here in the first half. The underdog Sooners lead it by 7. Let's go down below now to Aaron Andrews.
Coach, first I'll ask you about Oklahoma's scoring drive right there. Why were they able to march down the field so easily?
Well, we didn't do a good job of getting pressure on the quarterback, and then we came really close to getting a couple interceptions, but we got to do a better job of pressuring the quarterback and then tackling. We didn't tackle very well in the first half.
Offensively for you, your big 3 almost shut out really until the end of this first half. What started to click?
Well, we've got to get back into a rhythm, and we got to run the ball effectively, and then it allows us to throw it down the field.
All right, Mike, thanks. Brent.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Right now, let's send it to the Times Square studio. John Saunders and Jesse Palmer for the Capital One halftime report. Take it away, John. And the Bedlam matchup, the battle for bragging rights in Oklahoma, with the Sooners leading Oklahoma State, but only by 7 points. As we take a look at tonight's Southwest Airlines playbook. Well, Ryan Broyles is a go-to receiver, and here's his 13th touchdown catch of the year for the Sooners. But Herbie, we had one of the most remarkable interceptions we've seen this year.
Great effort here by Brown. Knocks it back to Sean Lewis, the true freshman, to come up with an interception. And that's one of 3 that Landry Jones has thrown. And really, you start to look at the numbers, and that's the big key. Oklahoma State creating those turnovers, keeping themselves in this game, actually led to 10 of their points. Without that, it's kind of a mismatch. Oklahoma started to dominate that game. You know, Bill Young told us that when they lost that game to Nebraska, they missed 33 tackles. And we heard Coach Gundy tell Aaron on the way out, we didn't tackle well in that first half. So we want to keep an eye on that. Yes, sir. Big crowd on hand. Stadium's been remodeled over the last couple of years thanks to the most generous donation in the history of intercollegiate athletics by T. Boone Pickens, who's here tonight. And this ball will come out on the 20-yard line. Well, we take a look here, Herbie, at the Pacific Life game summary. You made such a good point. When you look at the numbers, you'd think that the Sooners were routing the Cowboys. Yeah, I think we're at a 7-point game. Look at the plays, almost double for Oklahoma over Oklahoma State. Over 100 yards more total offense. Yards after the catch. There's the line there at the bottom of the interceptions thrown. We talked about the 3 interceptions. Oklahoma State has thrown a couple of their own. First downs, 10 more for Oklahoma. But here we are, 7-point game. And the Cowboys start the second half with a football. Now, Brandon Whedon was rubbing a wrist down on the sideline late in the first half, so we'll keep an eye on that. Kendall Hunter will open the second half, and the senior running back picks up 5 yards. As I want to take a look now at the comparison, and you can see what the big 3 have done. And Hunter's been relatively quiet tonight. And you heard Coach Gundy walking off with Aaron Andrews. The other thing he said is we've got to be able to run the football to kind of set up Whedon in this passing game. Blackman, of course, who's had 3 big catches for him. Offensive line holds up, and Whedon hits Blackman. That's number 4, I believe, on the night. It's what Whedon wants to do, and he needs time to throw. Oklahoma only rushed 4, and give Oklahoma State's offensive line a lot of credit. They just put up a wall, gave Whedon the time that he needed, and on that long a throw, obviously you need time in that pocket. Nice job by Whedon of finding the open man. Whedon from Edmond, Oklahoma, played at Santa Fe High School, played in a high school semifinal right here in this stadium. Short of the first down is Kendall Hunter. As Herbie told you early on, 27 years old. He is the oldest man to ever quarterback a Big 12 team. Now, the Yankees drafted him in the 2nd round in 2002. He spent 5 seasons pitching for 3 organizations. Never got higher than A-ball. Had a 19-26 record, a 5.02 ERA. Fastball measured once at 97 miles an hour. He is married just about a year ago. And he said, I like that, Mary, to go home, don't go out at night. He said, I like it, settling down. So here's now Hunter on a reception, picks up the first down before Jefferson makes the stop. And Herbie, Jonathan Nelson beginning to appear that he will not be back tonight. Yeah, it looks like Harris has had to step in for him. You know, the one thing about Whedon being 27 years old, he is in his 4th year in this system. He's been around Zach Robinson, but I think being 27 and going through the minor leagues, his veteran leadership, even though he's in his 1st year in starting, I think this offensive team is really fed off of that swagger that he has. Yeah, that's a very good point. And now Randall, a freshman, with a big run. And Carter knocks him out of bounds, but not before Joseph Randall picks up the first down. Now they're really starting to establish something. Great blocks on the left side, and good block by 7. Michael Harrison, the freshman, downfield, locking up with Fleming. But the left side of that offensive line, Martinez and Rush, the center corner, great job. And I'd love to see those receivers. This time it's the freshman Harrison helping out downfield to allow for even a bigger gain for the running back. Remember, there was such a question mark about this offensive line before the season started, as he drops it in now to Cooper's hands. Joe Wickline is the offensive line coach here at Oklahoma State. Now, he played at Florida. He was an offensive lineman. He is 6th year here at Oklahoma State, and he is a fine offensive line coach.
Grant Garner is his center. Taylor Rush are the guards. Adcock and Martinez are his tackles. And Kendall Hunter will be the running back this time. So this line has started to come together this season. That jet look. He throws out of it, and Cooper again for another first down. Let's check in down below with Aaron.
Brent, Bob Stoops told me coming out of the half the reason why Brandon Whedon was able to connect with Justin Blackman on that huge pass late in the first half, blown assignments. He said this defense cannot continue that in the second half.
Well, here we are with Oklahoma State. Remember, Herbie made the point late in the first half. They get the ball to start the second half, and Herbie, they're making the most of it right now. They have marched deeply into Oklahoma territory here.
7 plays, 56 yards already in under 3 minutes, and it's been a really nice job of mixing up the formations, mixing up the run with the pass, and really just being comfortable in rhythm. And this is the Oklahoma State offense that we've seen for 11 games.
So they'll measure on this side to see if maybe the Cowboys picked up another first down.
Ready? Yes. Yes.
Again, just a fraction of an inch at the 20. It's just inside the 24-yard line. And Whedon, that veteran look, when you've pitched in A ball, when you've traveled 18 hours on a bus, you're not going to get rattled. When you stand in back there, you're going to be very poised. You're a veteran. I remember Chris Winkie. He and I talked about it. Brandon Whedon and what Winkie did, how he performed for Florida State. Very similar situation. Stepping away from the pressure, and there's penalty. There is pass interference. Going to be called on Fleming, I believe.
Pass interference, defense number 32. Spot foul, it is first down.
Fleming kind of came up, but I don't know if he didn't see the flag or what. He's had a great year stepping in this year to take over for one of the corner spots, and I think his maturity this time, yeah, he's there a little bit too early. The big fullback, Bryant Ward, with one of his rare opportunities to get his hands on the football. But Fleming's had a great year that time, though, definitely interfered with Ward.
At the 20-yard line, first down.
Confusion by Oklahoma. Looks like Travis Lewis jumped in to call a timeout.
Timeout, Oklahoma.
Might only been 10 men out there. There were only 10 men out there. I can see them walking off. They'll find the 11th man. Find him, Brent.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online, only at southwest.com. Wrangler, for unbeatable comfort and value. You can count on Wrangler. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. And Dr. Pepper, there's nothing like a pepper.
This has become one of the best facilities in all of college football. Boone Pickens giving $498 million to Oklahoma State.
Amazing, Brent. And here's a little play action here to Hunter. With the success of the running game, it freezes Lewis. Lewis, by just stepping up a little bit right there, gives them the room that they need to be able to execute. And also Bowling holding this corner gave them the room that they needed. And eventually, nice throw by Whedon just in time for the touchdown.
Ready to go. Quinn Sharp with the ball on the tee. Madu back deep, and again he keeps it away from the deep man. And that is fielded by Brennan Clay, one of the running backs. He's out to the 35-yard line. We go to the Times Square studio in New York. Here's Robert Flores. Robert, it is so nice to see Mitch Mustaine finally get a start. I know it came at the expense of an injury to Matt Barkley, but Mustaine has certainly waited his chance out there in Los Angeles after transferring from Arkansas. Now Landry Jones fires incomplete. Now the Sooner big three. We have talked about the Cowboys main men, and here's what the Sooners big three have done.
Broyles has had his chance, 8 attempts. He's made 5 catches. One of the guys that has had to step up, and really did late in the first half. Cameron Kenny came up with some big catches, including a touchdown.
Yeah, and That time, Andrew McGee was all over Kenny, too, Herbie. I think they were very aware as to what he did to them in the first half. Broyles from the flat, and he's across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. So here comes your third down play coming up for the Sooners.
If the Sooners come up with a first down here, they're going to go up tempo. Again, I've said it for the last few series. I think it's important that Oklahoma eventually takes some shots downfield. Everything is underneath, and it's the Oklahoma State defense is squeezing everything defensively closer to the line of scrimmage.
8 of 14 on third. And short that time is Stills. Stills didn't get there. Kenny Stills was short when he made the reception, and the Sooners will have to punt it away.
He's got to know as a young receiver that route is not enough room. The ball he comes back to is going to keep him short of the first down. But again, Oklahoma eventually is going to have to stretch the field against Oklahoma State. It opens up your running game, and it gives you a chance to get back to the underneath, which is their bread and butter in their passing game.
Now, the young man who just scored the touchdown is back deep to return this punt by Tressway. Wow. He hangs this way in the air toward the end zone. It will come out on the 20. Now, we've talked about the BCS rankings. If Oklahoma wins this game, it will go to the BCS rankings. That's where these three teams stand right now. Oklahoma State 9th, Oklahoma 13th, and Texas A&M way back at 17th, and that's why most people don't believe that Texas A&M will win the tiebreaker. Highest BCS ranking tomorrow would decide. But if Oklahoma State wins it, there's no issue. They win it outright, and they will go to their first Big 12 championship game. They will play Nebraska next Saturday in Dallas. Kendall Hunter checks into the game, deadlocked at 24 here in the third quarter. Fires it out to the main target, Blackman. And Hurst is over there. Remember, he's playing with an injured ankle. Gets up a little bit gimpy. Had to take himself out once in the first half, and he'll come into the sideline again, shaking his head.
Got to applaud his effort just to come out here and play tonight, Brent. He's given it everything that he has, but you can see how much it's affected him.
Second down. Here's Kendall Hunter. Can he get the first down? Does not. You know, Kirby, when you think about Oklahoma State, and any time you lose 2 first-round draft choices from your offense, you figure you're going to have trouble rebuilding. Russell Okung was drafted by Seattle and fine left tackle in the first round. Des Bryant, of course, went to the Dallas Cowboys in the first round. But when they put it all together around Brandon Whedon, they have come back strong this year, and that's a tribute to the coaches and to the talent that they've recruited. Third down and short now. First down. Hunter, forward progress. Jeremy Beal is there.
You mentioned Okong. Think about losing 4 offensive linemen, a veteran quarterback in Zach Robinson, and then coming back with a new offensive coordinator. Most people picked him not only not to compete in the Big 12, but last in the Big 12 South. They've not only exceeded expectations, they've become one of the great stories this year in the country.
Jeremy Smith has checked in, and he's the running back right now, and he'll get the call. Picked up by 2 or 3. Herbie, the one preseason magazine that did not think they were going to finish in the bottom, interesting enough, was the Blue Ribbon. They are the only one. Everybody else said last or second to last, and Blue Ribbon said, no, they've got some talent. They've done a good job. They pointed out that Mike Gundy, through the years, has been doing an excellent job of recruiting, especially down in Texas.
That's a great point. He is building a foundation here. It's no longer let's put it together for 1 year, then go away. There's stability now with this Cowboy program.
Second down and 8. Look at the time. And he's covered. He's going to take off one of the few times. Whoa, what great vision by the young man. Looked over there, Herbie. He might have thrown an interception.
Let's remember, he played 2 years of high school football. Then he went away for 6 years to play minor league baseball. Now he's back as a first-time starter in college football. This is a great job, and it shows you he's still growing. And that's a good job of feeling it, seeing the open room in front of him, and picking up some yards. And now they have a manageable third down here against Oklahoma.
And they send Hunter back onto the field along with Joseph Randall. fake it all the way, then drop it in underneath to Randall. He won't get there. It was read beautifully by Harris. So Javon Harris comes up and makes a big defensive play.
And Brent, you and I have been talking a lot about how, with Jonathan Nelson down, how will Harris do? Earlier in the game, when he was adjusting to the speed of the game, he made a few miscues in run support. This time he sniffs it out, and I think he's now into the flow of the game. Does a good job in the open field.
Now Broyles is back deep. Here comes Quinn again. Battle of the punters. Look at this one. Drives Broyles back to the 12-yard line. Looking for an alley, and he is run out of bounds on that far side. Held up by Moore. 7:18 to go in the third. Tied in Stillwater. Caleb Lavey, a freshman from Colina, Texas, has replaced Ori Lemon, and he was not out there. Lemon was not out there for the last series either. Folks, this is something to keep an eye on. That's our leading tackler, who's been missing in 2 series now. Landry Jones comes up high, and Broyles snags it over there on the far side.
And Brent, you're right about not only Lemon being the leading tackler, but the emotional leader. Bill Young saying this week to us that he wouldn't take another linebacker in the country to replace his guy because of that leadership.
Been slowed by injuries through the years. DeMarco Murray, a tough run by DeMarco, and Lavey was there.
I'm going to continue to say this, that it's making it easier for Oklahoma State to defend the Oklahoma running game and the underneath passing game, because at this point they don't fear the vertical stretch, the vertical threat from the passing game.
Inside of 7 minutes here in the third quarter. Far side off Broyles' hands. And Lemon is now coming back. So he was being tended to, and he quickly grabs his helmet. And when he's not on the field, folks, for this defense, that's a story.
Not only is he back out on the field, he instantly grabbed that helmet, showing these coaches he wants back out there.
2nd down and 10. And throw is complete. Stills is not going to get the first down.
Oklahoma State using, and Lemon is back out on the field, which is great to see for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State using that kind of a bend but don't break philosophy, just trying to keep everything in front of the defense.
3rd down and 3. Murray is the back. Jones checks the sideline for the play call. Bill Young has 3 linemen down, and he's going to blitz the backers, and they're in on him. They're going to sack him. They come immediately with Gent, number 42. You could see the backers coming through the gaps.
And Brent, I think because they disguised it so well, there's confusion right here by the left guard. This time, Icord, he comes down and allows Gent to come free. It's a miscommunication. Great job of disguising the blitz at the last second. And because they timed it up so well, the offensive line did not have time to make the adjustment, and Gent came free right up the middle.
So Oklahoma will have to punt it away again, and Cooper inching a little bit closer. Wade booms one. And this one will go out of bounds. And a reminder, Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM on ESPN Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Chris Berman and the gang, and here are some stories. Is that Jeff Fisher-Vince Young relationship beyond repair in Tennessee? How about Michael Vick's speed against the Bears' great defense this year? It'll all be interesting, and they'll cover all those stories. Get you ready for Sunday. And, of course, Monday night, the battle of the NFC West, the 49ers and the Cardinals. And now Hunter will come out on this series. Deadlocked at 24 with 5:40 to go here in Stillwater. Hunter up the middle, and Lewis throws him back.
Oklahoma State.
That's Rennell Lewis.
Brent, I apologize.
No.
Oklahoma State, I think, felt that they had a pretty decisive advantage with this offensive line against the interior of Oklahoma's defensive line, because the Sooners have sustained so many injuries, and they just don't lack this. They don't have the great depth and size that they've had in the past. But to the credit of the Sooners, they've held up pretty well in the interior tonight.
2nd down and 9 under pressure. Gets it off. Blackman back on the field, and he will not get the first down. It's going to be 3rd down, a long yard. So he's playing with that gimpy ankle, and hanging in is Justin Blackman, finalist for the Biletnikoff Award, is the best receiver in the country.
Offensive line that time, and the backs, Hunter helping out in pass protection, giving Whedon just enough time before Jeremy Beal and company got to Brandon Whedon.
Jeremy Smith, who's gotten some important yards tonight for the Cowboys, is a running back. Can he get it again? Short. He is stoned, and Beal was there helping out with Quentin Carter coming up. And this was just terrific defense.
Outstanding job by Travis Lewis being right. He didn't end up coming up with a tackle, but he was sound as far as his responsibility. See him right there forcing Smith to the outside, and then there's the rest of the defense. You have Beal coming in and also Quentin Carter, but 28, Lewis does a good job because he was responsible and locked up right where he needed to be able to slow down Smith and force Smith to the outside.
So our punting battle continues, and here is Quinn Sharp. Fair catch signaled for by Broyles inside the 20-yard line. And here's your Sony big picture for the day. Arkansas taking down LSU, and so we're projecting that Arkansas is going to go to the Sugar Bowl. We'll know that, of course, a week from Sunday. Michigan State holds off Penn State, and Michigan State might be the odd Big Ten team out. Ohio State routing rival Michigan. We're projecting the Buckeyes are going to go to the Sugar Bowl. Wisconsin blows out Northwestern, and we're projecting the Rose Bowl. And already the Badgers are smelling the roses. Figures to be 2 Big Ten teams and 2 from the SEC. And there's Auburn on schedule for the championship game. Swing to Murray, and he is being brought down by Sean Lewis, freshman who has 2 interceptions tonight. Herbie showed you the one on that fabulous tip back by Broderick Brown. Had another one for 52 yards and a touchdown.
What a great year he has had as a true freshman, and they play him to the field.
Millard going for the first down that time. McGee was over there, and he's just a little bit short of it.
I think the biggest difference, people want to talk about Sam Bradford not being here. I think Jermaine Gresham not being here. Broyles is a great receiver, but Stills is really the only guy that can get downfield. And because of that, Kevin Wilson is forced to be creative with a lot of dinking and dunking underneath to the backs and to the fullbacks and to the tight ends and the receivers. But they're not doing a very good job of getting downfield.
3rd and 1. Murray for the first down.
DeMarco Murray, as this game goes on and these defenses are starting to play better and better, you expect your seniors to come up and make big plays for you.
Play action, standing tall, and complete. Got it back to number 82, James Hanna, and he's hit him for a couple of big plays.
Now they're starting. This is what they need to do, because not only do you have a chance to get behind coverage that's become so tight, now it sets up other parts of your offense.
They come back with DeMarco Murray again. So that up tempo, trying to prevent too much substitution on the part of Oklahoma State and Bill Young's defense here. And they have moved, and now we've got an injured player down on the field. That's Donaldson, Chris Donaldson, who has been a factor in that defensive front. Jarka, Donaldson, and Nicholas rotate, and Cooper Bassett brings a little bit of speed to that position, but Bill Young is not particularly deep at the defensive tackle spot.
Really, Jarka and Donaldson in the interior of Bill Young's defense. main job they do is lock up those offensive linemen and free Lemon and those rest of the linebackers.
So, Herbie, you are free to disagree with me, and this is certainly subject to change, and this is only one man's opinion, and you can take it from here. I got Wisconsin, TCU, and the Rose. I've got whoever wins the Big 12 championship. Could be Nebraska. Could be either of these two teams. Against Connecticut, I'm projecting they beat South Florida. Florida State to win the ACC. Play Stanford. If they get to fourth to go in, Arkansas, Ohio State, Oregon, and Auburn.
Yeah.
Take it away, my friend.
Well, I think if you go by conventional wisdom, and if there aren't any big upsets, Oregon and Auburn end up winning out. They're going to play in the national championship. And you got to believe if that happens, Arkansas, with their win today, would step into the Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl would definitely pick Ohio State as an at-large because of the way they draw. And I think right now, unless there's some big upsets next week, that's how it looks.
Now, fans may wonder why Stanford Orange and TCU Rose, and that's because of a rule. By losing Oregon, they have to go for the highest ranking non-qualifier, and TCU right now is the only non-qualifier that would be someone the Rose Bowl will have to select. And here goes Jones deep. Battle on the sideline, and he overthrows Broyles. Pretty good battle there, Herbie, with McGee.
Yeah, and they've been kind of waiting to go to this, and we've been calling for it up here. Broyles ISO'd here. A little bit of an out-and-up move against Andrew McGee, their best corner. Pretty physical right there by McGee, but the ball wasn't yet up in the air, and Broyles eventually doesn't have a chance to make a play on the ball.
Gundy Jones checks over to the sideline. This is 3rd and 5. Great check down receiver in DeMarco Murray. Hanna has been able to work open in the middle to that seam several times tonight for Landry. Hanna releases, and he'll drop it off now to Murray, and he's going to get the first down. Goes back to his safety valve.
And you can't beat this. 3rd down, you get DeMarco Murray in space. He waits for everybody to clear out, and then he gets a couple good blocks downfield. Stephen Good doing a good job downfield hustling. It's a nice play. Good decision there.
Ball at the 35-yard line. Flanker screen to the outside, and Trey Franks, who's been missing here for a while, back on the field, and Lewis makes the stop on the freshman.
Sooners trying to get this Oklahoma State defense on its heels with this tempo right now. Kenny Stills pretty quiet tonight, isolated one-on-one to the bottom there against Brown, the corner.
Now, as soon as Landry Jones sets the offense, Bill Young's defense will move after he gets set. The play clock was coming down. He had plenty of time. There's DeMarco Murray. And Lemon throws him down shy of the 30-yard line.
It's good speed by Lemon. And, you know, he's deceptive speed for his size, about 245 pounds. Watch him just mirror Murray. And because of the job by Lewis on the outside, it forced Murray to cut back in and gave Lemon a chance to get in and make that play.
3rd and 6.
Got Broyles up in the slot there.
Got the first down, and that's Stills. Kenny Stills. California youngster recruited by the Stoops staff.
Just a natural receiver, his 5th reception. Like I said, when you're one-on-one to the backside, you've got to be able to help your quarterback out and make those plays.
In the 3rd quarter, pump fake by Jones, going to go for the touchdown, and he's covered. Overthrew Franks, and he was not free of McGee. Andrew McGee with a broken wrist, a cast on it. He has 5 interceptions, and the coach is telling us, Herbie, one of those picks came with that cast on the wrist.
What a gamer, a senior. And he's going to check out of the game, maybe catch a little win. Oklahoma now, just on this drive alone, starting to go after McGee, and at the very least, just at least stretching the Oklahoma State defense.
Murray on the field as a receiver. Finch is there as the running back. 49 passing attempts here tonight, and Millard runs right straight ahead from that fullback spot.
Well, he is a good-looking. You've seen a lot of true freshmen from both sides, from Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and you talk about an impressive-looking fullback. It's a rare breed anymore in college football to see an old-school fullback, 6'2", 245 pounds. He's a warrior.
Next pass will be number 50 for the Oklahoma sophomore. He's 30 of 49 for 265. He's averaging 316. So come on back for the money quarter. This presentation of Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines returns after this message. We welcome you back to Stillwater. The Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brett Musburger. Herbie, the Pacific Life game summary.
Yeah, Landry Jones, you can see the numbers, the big number, the 3 interceptions, gave Oklahoma State some life, and Whedon really starting to settle in himself despite those 2 interceptions, and all of a sudden a defensive game broke out there in the 3rd quarter.
Right now the Sooners are on the move. This is a 3rd and 4. So start quarter number 4. And Broyles reaches for the first down. Great effort, veteran receiver, knew he wasn't there, and he got the first down battling Broderick Brown.
And this is what makes Ryan Broyles so good. It's not just he's able to make plays, it's the effort and the awareness to make that play.
Now quickly to the other side, it's Broyles again across the 10, out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Martin from Wichita Falls, Texas, where there are so many schools that recruit in the state of Texas. And when you think about the states that produce the football players, Texas is right up there with the leaders. No question about it. Under pressure, high and incomplete, and I believe that was Donaldson who was shaken up back on the field. He applied the heat that time on Landry.
I think that pressure forced Landry Jones to, I think he locked in a little prematurely. You could see DeMarco Murray slide right out of the backfield. He was right in front of Jones, and Jones had time. He would have been able to see him and probably could have gotten into the end zone for a touchdown.
It was a 3rd down and 4. Time, and again incomplete. Through to double coverage, but at least it was high. And now it is 4th and 4, and you would think that Stoops would put the 3 on right now to take the lead.
Just talked about Andrew McGee, what great coverage he has on the outside, and then you got Lemon helping out, but for that time Andrew McGee just read that route, jumped the route, and it didn't allow Stills to have any chance to even get to the point where he was trying to connect with the quarterback, Landry Jones. Great coverage again by number 6.
So Jimmy Stevens, 11 of 14 on the year, hit 1 tonight. This a 24-yarder. And now he's put 2 on the board. But Oklahoma State did not give up 7.
No, they didn't.
Well, the Sooners lead this Bedlam battle, 27-24, 14-25 to go now in the 4th quarter. Best way to kick it off. This one's returnable. Picked off in the 10 by Gilbert, the freshman. And the scrum throws it back to about the 25 on Monday Night Football, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, the 49ers and the Cardinals. So the battle for the NFC West continues. That'll be your Monday night game. Now, we talked about Texas, the number of players. Take a look at this from the Week 1 rosters, the states. California, Texas, Florida, 1, 2, 3, and then Ohio and Georgia right there too, Herbie.
Got him on the board there. Tough to compete with the sunshine.
That's right.
You know.
Here we go. 1st down and 10. Swing it out now to Randall. He's to the 33-yard line.
Whedon hasn't missed a pass here in the 2nd half. He's now 9-9. Doesn't have huge yards, but he's in rhythm more because the offense is a little bit more conducive to getting into a flow where you can run the football, he can make some good throws, and he's got more time to be able to throw, and makes it easier, obviously, on his decision-making.
He's got 31 touchdown passes this season, including 1 here tonight. Dropped.
That's the first mistake here in the 2nd half by Oklahoma State. And you and I were talking at the break, every series at this point, pivotal. You're in the fourth quarter. Every chance you have to be able to try to secure a drive, put points on the board. You're playing basically for a right to get to Dallas in a Big 12 championship game, to play Nebraska.
That was a big drop by Antiem. 3rd down and 6. Whedon is so calm in the pocket. Snaps it off, goes right back to him, but it's short of the 1st down. And that was a terrific coverage, and that was Javon Harris, who is filling in for Jonathan Nelson, who was injured in the 1st half.
Yep, got to give him a lot of credit. Javon Harris, number 30, the sophomore, in space against Antiem, makes his play. And Antiem's a much bigger receiver. He just does not have the ability to explode and get around Harris. But again, Harris, a 2nd time in the last few series, makes another big play defensively.
So Sharp will bang it away, and Broyles is back deep for the Sooners. Then try to return this from the 20. He is banged out of bounds at the 22-yard line, so we'll take a break. 27-24. Sooners lead it by a field goal in regulation.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? And Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Well, there's a lot at stake here tonight. A spot in the Big 12 championship, their last championship game, as they'll go to 10 teams next year. Nebraska waits the winner of the South. If Oklahoma State can rally and win this, they will play. But if Oklahoma wins, we'll have a 3-way tie, and the highest BCS ranking will play Nebraska. Murray and Finch in the backfield alongside Landry Jones. Play action fake, going to come deep down the middle. Broyles incomplete.
And they went with the diamond formation, which has a tendency to show that they're going to run the football, but they got exactly what they wanted. One-on-one coverage to the outside, and that time Broyles got behind Brown and had a chance for the big play. But Kevin Wilson, these last 2 series, starting to stretch the Oklahoma State defense, and even when you don't hit that, it's going to give Landry Jones and this offense more room to work with underneath and with their running game.
Here is the running game. The freshman Finch bounces off a Lewis attempted a tackle, and Thomas is up there on him.
Oh, what a tough run by Finch, taking on the veteran Lemon. Able to bounce off him and pick up another 4 or 5 yards to give him a really good chance here. Now 3rd and short.
Absolutely.
I love that little guy.
DeMarco Murray in the I formation behind Millard. Murray is stopped, keeps battling, reaches for that 1st down. And that spot indicates that he got it.
The burst into the line is very different when Murray comes through there, but I think the strength of Murray as he fights for that 2nd, 3rd, 4th effort that time, trying to fight for that 1st down.
12 minutes, regulation. Oklahoma up a field goal. Here comes Murray. And we have Lewis makes that tackle. And we get word from New York that the Miami Hurricanes have fired head football coach Randy Shannon, and they will make it official tomorrow. So Randy Shannon, I think the Canes were beaten by South Florida today. No one in recent Miami history did a better job of preaching education and behavior to the youngsters at Miami, but the 1-loss record just was not up to snuff with Florida State on a roll, Herbie, and the Hurricane Nation certainly felt that they had to make a change. He leaves 28-22, but I know you join me in wishing Randy nothing but the best. He is such solid, a quality individual.
Nobody knew that program better, having lived it as a player, as an assistant, as a coordinator, now as a head coach these last few years. But at the same time, with the struggles, and especially this year with a veteran team, you kind of sense that something might be coming with the Miami team, and a loss today against South Florida, maybe the final straw.
So here is 3rd and 5 for Oklahoma. DeMarco Murray got the first down again. Taking time off this clock right now.
That's a good job up front on a 3rd down and 5. They're going to run the football. Look at the job that time the Oklahoma offensive line does, coming off the ball and pushing them back.
And they go quickly now to Murray, trying to ambush the defense.
Murray looked like he
took a
he got rid of that football pretty quickly. He looks like he's in a lot of pain.
He's been plagued by injuries. Been the only problem that
like
he's had at OU, Herbie.
Looked like his left knee had impact there as he was trying to make a cut right there. Looked pretty tough. Savage coming in there, McGee rather, coming in there trying to make a play, fighting off the block. And Murray has battled through injuries his entire career in Norman.
27-24, 10-17. Herbie, as Murray's being tended to, and we'll certainly follow that story. Let's take a look at the Heisman Trophy race and your feeling right now.
Well, it's going to be interesting in a couple weeks in New York, because on the field, for me personally, it's a no-brainer. In the 15 years that I've been voting, there's Cam Newton and there's every other candidate on the field. But the storylines that have surfaced in the last 3 or 4 weeks, you wonder if that will impact voters as they look at their ballot in their final 3. Great to see Murray walking off there. But for me personally, as of right now, it's Cam Newton, then LaMichael James, and then Kellen Moore.
Andrew Luck is going to get some support.
Absolutely. Boy, after tonight, the job that he did against Oregon State, his numbers just continue to go up.
Outstanding Stanford quarterback. Could be the first fellow drafted by the NFL.
What a player.
Next April. Finch, the running back, replacing the injured Murray. 2nd down and 8. Trying to get wide out there. Chenoweth, number 91, that outstanding talent. He's a senior. You'll see him drafted come next spring also. Young man from Richardson, Texas. He's a big timer. 6'5", 255 pounds. Bill Young thinks the world of him. 3rd down and 7. Madu, number 17, was a receiver last year. Switched back to running back. Another good all-around Sooner back. They release him. They throw deeper than that for the first down, however, and that's Hanna again. Hanna has burned this secondary.
Brent, it's the 3rd time that Hanna's found that exact same spot behind the linebackers, and it's a good job of Landry Jones getting into rhythm. James Thomas that time right behind him.
There's 12 men on the field for Oklahoma State. I don't believe they got him off. Let's see. That's what this hurry-up offense can do. If catch you in the middle of a substitution and they get it snapped.
Be the 2nd time tonight they got him.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Full sprint before that ball snapped. Landry Jones said, bring it back. Oh, yeah. Not even close. Big drive here for the Sooners and for Oklahoma State's defense.
I'll tell you why he didn't get off. They're over on the left hash. He's got to run to the near side, the big rascal. Finch and Madu now check in as the running backs, the diamond formation. Here comes Madu swinging wide, and Finch again, the lead blocker, and Lemon is there to make the stop. What a middle linebacker. What a Mike linebacker he is.
He's the epitome. He's a great example for the rest of the defense to follow. And Madu comes in with Murray down with really live legs.
Finch for the first down, busts into the red zone to the 15-yard line.
Well, here comes that offensive line again, setting the tone and making some big blocks, getting guys out of position, and Finch gets upfield in a hurry.
Here comes Finch trying to swing wide now. And he'll be out of bounds on that side. Gent was there defensively. And now there's an injured Cowboy down. Nicholas. So again, they're a little short-handed in the middle of this defensive line. And the big tackle is down. Let's check it down below with Aaron. Aaron?
Brent, just an update for you on DeMarco Murray. Trainers continue to look at his left knee. I just saw him say to the trainers as he was testing it out, that doesn't feel right. He's been trying to walk around. They're doing some tests on him, but DeMarco Murray just not comfortable with that left knee right now.
So the only thing that has slowed him down, 2007, the dislocated kneecap. 2008, the torn hamstring. Then in 2009, strained his other hamstring and sprained his ankle. Started only 5 games a year ago. You just think about the numbers that he would have put up without those injuries. He already has the OU touchdown record. And when you take a look at his all-purpose yards, closing in on 6,500. He's in the top 20 overall, and yet he missed all those games. Young man from Las Vegas, Nevada, and just one of the great all-around backs in college football over the last few years. And it's good to see that Nicholas is up.
Imagine missing the 08 season. You know, they were scoring at will, and he missed a Big 12 championship. He missed a national championship game that you and I were down there for, where you know, Tim Tebow and the Gators going up against the Sooners. He had to miss all that action.
Second down and 13 coming up for Landry Jones, and Madu is the running back behind him. Drops it off to the freshman Stills.
It's a huge play. You can see Bob Stoops, his face right now. He knows how important this is. A big third down right here. Oklahoma State trying to hold Oklahoma to a field goal. Keep this a one-possession game.
You can stop him here and force another field goal. It would be huge. Third down and 9. Throws it away. They have forced another field goal. And you're right, Herbie, keeping that in the one-score range is just huge for the Cowboys here.
Good mix-up there by Bill Young. Rushing 3, dropping 8. And Landry Jones, as he looked off to the right towards James Hanna. Kenny was over there. Ryan Broyles, just nobody open. All he could do was throw the football away.
For Jimmy Stevens, this a 31-yarder, his longest attempt of the night. Dead perfect. 3 for 3. 30-24. 54 points on the board. Well, ABC's Winter Wipeout. Same show with snow. More spills, thrills, and lots of chills. Winter Wipeout premieres Thursday, January 6th on ABC. That is 4 nights before the BCS Championship on ESPN this year. Right now, of course, sitting 1 and 2, Oregon and Auburn, both with a game to play next week. And here's Trustway to kick it away. Fielded on the 5-yard line that time by Thomas. Thomas to the 25-yard line. Well, Herbie, when you take a look at the Big 12 South, Nebraska awaits the survivor. Oklahoma State's never been to the championship game.
Yeah, and this is probably the closest they've been, and great chance here still because of the way their defense has stepped up here and given themselves a chance. Still only down 1 possession, down 6 points. But it's interesting. You look at all these years, and Oklahoma State never's had that chance to represent the Big 12 South.
Speaking of defense, the Sooners have done a splendid job of keeping the Cowboys under control. Remember now, the Cowboys came in averaging 45 points a game, and there's a deflection and a dive for the interception. Box. The 3rd interception of the night, and it was deflected by Rennell Lewis.
Brent, it's a zone blitz where they brought pressure with the linebackers and then dropped the defensive lineman. Great job by Lewis getting their hands up in the air. And I'll tell you, that was an instinctive play by Austin Box, who was coming in on a blitz. Then he jumps up into the air. Then he sees the ball and has the ability to be able to go up and make that interception.
And the Pelini brothers just reached for a reel of Oklahoma offense. First down and 10. And the Sooners are in big-time control here right now. With a lead and the ball in the red zone, 7:20 on the clock.
Murray still out. Madu out there along with Finch. Millard in that backfield. Still 7 minutes to go in this game.
They can run some time here, Herbie. Even a field goal is huge. If they can
Absolutely.
take 2.5, 3 minutes off and get on a 9, that forces the Cowboys to look for 2 scores right here.
Nothing's a lock with Jimmy Stevens, even though he's hit 3 tonight.
Pump fake. Dropped. That's Millard's second drop of the night. Dropped one early in the first quarter, too. Normally sure-handed. He'd sat down. That was a good throw by Landry.
He sat right down in the zone, and Landry put it where he had to. And if Miller makes that catch, I mean, it's a first down. They've got the ball at about the 7-yard line now. They're on the left hash here on 3rd down and long.
3rd down and 10. Remember, if it gets too long, they'll switch to Patrick O'Hara. Drop it off to Madu in the middle. Picks up 9 yards before he's sent down by Lewis.
See if the Bob Stoops right away calling for Jimmy Stevens. They're short. He wants to get that lead, like you said, to 9 points and make it a 2-possession game.
9's just a big number.
Jimmy Stevens has been hot tonight, 3 for 3. Has a history of being a little erratic.
He's 13 of 16 for the year, and he has kicked a 42-yarder. This a 26-yarder. Got it. Stays perfect tonight. 5:53, and it could be 2 old rivals, Oklahoma and Nebraska, meeting next week in Dallas. We'll see. So we're back in Stillwater. Oklahoma riding a 7-game win streak in the Bedlam series. Now leads it by 9 with just inside of 6 minutes to go. And a berth in the Big 12 championship game is at stake. We have further word from Miami that offensive coordinator Mark Whipple was also let go. And Jeff Stoutland will coach Miami in the bowl game. Here is Gilbert. 25-30 out of bounds near the 35-yard line. Well, here comes Brandon Whedon.
Coming off that big interception where Oklahoma changed things up there with that zone blitz. They brought the pressure. Brandon was able to catch him off guard, and Oklahoma made a tremendously athletic play to be able to come up with that interception.
Kendall Hunter. Whedon throws, drops it in underneath the bowling. Well, they pick up a first down, and of course the main weapon is Justin Blackman.
And much like Oklahoma towards the end of the half, because of their familiarity with this hurry up, they're still in a comfort zone, even though they're down 9. They just got to move the ball down the field.
Reception incomplete. Waved off the live judge over there on that side. Harrison, he's got it.
Yeah,
he's marking it.
Yes, sir. He came up with the catch. At least that's what they're calling it on the field. That's a tremendous effort by Michael Harrison.
Wow, was it ever?
Wow.
First down and 10. There's a handoff now to Hunter. Hunter on a cutback into the middle. breaks free on the right side and is bounced out of bounds. Carter is over there with Hurst.
This is Kendall Hunter. This is a stretch play, and it's great vision to cut this back. He read that perfectly. The Oklahoma linebackers were flowing strong. He cut back underneath him. That's the first time we've seen Hunter out in open space for 21 yards.
Now from the 22-yard line. Blackman on a little screen pass to the 20-yard line, and Hurst is right there on the big fella. Playing despite that gimpy ankle. Been a gamer tonight. You can see it is still bothering him, and he's coming off on the sideline. They're going to give themselves another healthy receiver. Looks to me like he's about 60-65% here tonight.
Seems like he goes for a play or two and has to catch his breath.
Got 4 receivers for Whedon, 434. And drops it off to Bowling again. Box being very active right now. Austin Boxer Jr. from Enid, Oklahoma.
Box along with Tony Jefferson, Travis Lewis, Hurst on one side, Fleming on the other.
Blackman back. Play on, play off. This is a 3rd down and 3 timeout. Whedon's going to burn a timeout. That's his first one used here in the second half. Reminder now to stay tuned for the Ford wrap-up after the game, and reminder fans to log on to bcstailgate.com for your chance to win the ultimate tailgate F-150. I know some of you have joined us throughout the evening from other games, and remind you that tomorrow night at 8:15 on ESPN you'll get the latest BCS rankings, and the key now is who jumps to the number 4 spot. With both Boise State and LSU losing today, and if you can rise to that 4 spot, automatically you're in a BCS game. So even if Stanford cannot go to the Rose Bowl, they would play in the Sugar, Orange, or even Fiesta Bowl, although it has been believed all along that the Big East champion would go to the Tostitos Fiesta and play the winner of the Big 12. But we'll see, and that'll all unfold a week from tomorrow. So Blackman is on the field, 3rd down and 3. Play action. Strike. Touchdown Blackman. What a beautiful throw by Brandon Whedon. And he too is a little gimpy here tonight. But they're hanging in. They've given themselves a chance with plenty of time. Now you have got to credit Bill Young's Cowboy defense with holding the Sooners to field goals here in the second half. An extra point added by Dan Bailey, who has a huge leg.
Brent Cooper goes into motion. It's going to attract some of the defenders, but here's Blackman at the top, goes to the post. The important thing here is Whedon allows the play to develop, and eventually he gets cleared into a window, and he's able to show his arm strength there. But the most important thing, a minute 31 seconds to be able to go the length of the field there and come up with not just a field goal but a touchdown, and to make this a very interesting finish here. They're only down 2. He's got a strong arm.
Yes, he does. Accurate. He throws strikes.
He sure does.
Well, here we are. What a chance they've given themselves now with 4:06. Remember, Oklahoma, the last 3 times they've threatened, they've settled for field goals. They lead only by 2, and Dan Bailey is a huge weapon on the Oklahoma State sideline. We got a 2-point game right now at 4 minutes and a major series coming up for the Sooners. Sharp kicks it away. Madhu back deep, coming out to the 26-yard line. We go to Robert Flores in New York for an update. Robert.
Brent, Notre Dame's losing streak to USC has come to an end. Trojans down 4. Final minute of the game at the Coliseum. Mitch Mustaine picked off by Harrison Smith. The Irish turn it over 4 times, but find a way to win on the road, 20-16.
During the return, holding number 25 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
So a big mistake on the return. The crowd, many of the students are down in this end zone. Landry Jones has thrown it 59 times tonight. Finch and Madu are in. DeMarco Murray injured, still on the sideline. Madu swings wide, can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Andrew McGee comes up from that corner spot.
Well, it's Andrew McGee having a night tonight for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, a senior. And I think Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator from Oklahoma, with so much time still to go in this game, you have to be careful of getting too conservative against Oklahoma State at this point.
They can't give him even a sniff with the leg that they've got for a field goal kicker. Second down and 12. Play action by Landry. Gonna come deep. Juggle, incomplete. No question about it. Broyles the intended target. Some of the fellows who were behind that play thought that it was intercepted after the juggle.
Well, it goes off of Brown. Look at Johnny Thomas, who comes in late. The ball hits the ground, but tremendous effort there. But Brown, again, both the corners, McGee on one side, Brown on the other, having a pretty good night tonight, spotting the ball and making a play on him.
Just a huge 3rd and 12.
Right in front of that student section.
Fires for the first down. Got it. Cameron Kinney in a foot race. 40, 30, 20. Cuts for the end zone and puts it away for the Sooners. Oh, my. What a play. 86 yards when they had him backed up in 3rd and long. We thought the freshman had the speed, but did you see Kinney turn on the afterburners? Stunned on the Oklahoma State sideline, and they're great fans.
Brent, 3rd and 12. And Landry Jones delivers a strike. I'm with you. I didn't know Kinney had that kind of acceleration after the catch.
I thought they'd catch him for sure. He'd be down around the 20-yard line, and he just accelerated away. What a performance by Cameron here tonight.
Interesting on the left hash for the extra point. I think Broyles sets this up perfectly. He's on the inside, which is going to draw some attention. Kenny's down here. He's going to come here and come across the middle. But watch the time that Landry Jones has on 3rd and 12. Plenty of time. It's almost as if Kenny is isolated one-on-one, and then the acceleration and just running away from Broderick Brown and getting into the end zone. But 3rd down and 12, they rush 4. How about the job the offensive line does in holding up and giving Landry Jones the time that he needed for the play to develop, and then he throws an absolute laser right to Cameron Kinney, who stepped up in a big way tonight for the Oklahoma offense.
Now, this is a young man who transferred from a junior college, and he was timed at 4.48 in the 40. Down in Georgia, where he grew up, he played only 1 year of high school football at Dacula High School. Then he went to JC, and he was the number 17th overall JUCO player in the nation. First team all Jayhawk Conference back in 2008 as a receiver, returner, and folks hang on, punter. We're talking about a big-time all-around athlete in Cameron Kinney here tonight. And what a play for the ages for the Sooners in the Bedlam series. Fielded on the run by Gilbert. Now he's got daylight. He's got great speed. Look out! He's going to take it to the house, baby. Put 6 on the board. What a football game. Oh, brother. The freshman from Huntsville, Texas, goes 89 yards, and there's just no quit in these Cowboys. All we can say, folks, it is Bedlam, all right.
And we had Oklahoma and Missouri, and remember Missouri had a big kickoff return to set the tone in that game. Oklahoma struggled at times at kickoff return. It's a middle return, up the middle. There was a missed call there, a block in the back they got away with, but Gilbert hit the crease, and he didn't hesitate on the cutback against the kicker. Instantly, he saw that he had him out of position and took it, but there was a couple blocks there where they had a push right there in the back that the officials didn't call, and Gilbert made them pay for it. Like you
can't catch your breath.
I know. Big 12 football, right?
It is. Next week, more of the same in Dallas.
Made a good point about Oklahoma State not quitting. After what they just dealt with that play by Kenny, you're thinking, do they have anything left in them? Can Whedon deliver again and lead them down there? Second time they've had to come up with an answer. They've done that here the last 2 times they've had their hands on the football.
Now we'll see what the strategy is. The hands fellas are on the field for Oklahoma. They expect the onside kick. Quinn Sharp, he's number 13. He handles the kickoff duties, and here he comes. He's going to take it deep. No time comes off. He's going to let Oklahoma have it on the 20-yard line with 2. Hold on, everybody. Was there a timeout called?
Yeah, I think there was a timeout.
Timeout. Oklahoma. Their second of the half. 30 seconds in length.
We talked about how Oklahoma State had that huge return, and I think you and I both saw there's one of the pushes, and right here you can see Moore looks like he gets a hold of Franks as Franks is going down. But nonetheless, there's no call. Cowboys make a big play, and it's game on. Sooners up 2 with just under 3 to go.
So I think when they saw that Oklahoma State was not going to go to the onside kick, Stoops on the sideline quickly got a timeout because the hands team was out there. Of course, coming up next right after this game, late local news over most of these ABC stations. And over on ESPN, you can go to SportsCenter for post-game analysis, today's scores and highlights. What a week this has been. You know, there's no rhyme, no reason sometimes to the old BCS. We can pick it apart here and there, but it sure is fun. 2:51. So here we go. He just drills it again. Stoops might have saved the timeout. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. That youngin's got a leg now. It'll be interesting to see if they use him as the field goal kicker or the punter next year. So here we go, Herbie. Landry Jones without DeMarco Murray.
Remember, this Oklahoma offensive line, even with Murray down, has done an amazing job of setting the tone, coming up with some pass protection at times, and also coming off the ball and knocking Oklahoma State off the football to help out with Moses Madu back there in the backfield.
Now let's see what kind of time management Mike Gundy's going to go to. He's got 2 timeouts remaining. We're down at 2:51. Madu is the running back. And they stop him right away.
Instantly called. Mike Gundy calls the timeout.
There we are. Time management. You know, he told us in the meeting, so what do you find different about not calling plays? He said, well, one of the things, I have been more into time management. I can take a bigger overall view of what's going on. And I can pay more attention to the defense. I can check attitude on the field. And he said, I do miss play calling. He said, don't misunderstand. I enjoyed it all those years. But it is interesting right now, he has used one of his 2 remaining timeouts. He's still got 1 left. First things first, of course, they can't blow any tackles here.
You're right. It is interesting to talk to him about. Remember, we used to call games, and he'd have his back towards the field as the defense was out there, and everybody marveled at the fact he's the head coach, and he's over there scheming plays offensively and not even concerned about the defense. Well, now with Dana coming in to call the offense, as you said, it's freed him up to become more of a head coach and in charge of all aspects of the game.
Jones to throw, complete, a wide open's Hannah. Now he's in a foot race for the end zone, and he'll score. Wow, a 76-yard touchdown.
This is one of the best calls of the year in all of college football here by Kevin Wilson. Everybody expecting Oklahoma to run the football, to work clock, force Mike Gundy to use his timeouts, and instead, on second down, not third down, second down, the aggressive nature of Bob Stoops and Kevin Wilson once again prevails for the Oklahoma Sooners. That's guts.
Just an amazing touchdown eruption here late. Oklahoma has now scored on its last 5 possessions. We talked about the 3 field goals, but how about these 2 long touchdowns, including this one to Hannah?
Here's Hannah right here. Everybody expecting the run right here, right? Watch the defense. 11 guys up close to the line of scrimmage. And here is Hannah, and he's going to just get right behind coverage. Good job of Jones being patient. Sometimes that's the toughest throw to make for a quarterback when a receiver gets behind coverage and he's all alone. But Jones has really caught fire here the last 2 series. That time he puts it right on the money to Hannah for the touchdown.
And Herbie, I'm sure you saw what a great scheme. They ran somebody to the sideline to occupy McGee to clear him out.
Yep.
Then they got him free, and they didn't have the great corner even in the play at all. He had no chance to come back.
Well, everybody on that defense is thinking they're going to run the football with Madu. It's every coach in the country, they always talk about their book. The book says make the opposing coach with a lead, use the timeouts, and then try to make a play on third down. And if you get 1 first down, the game is over. But instead, they go against the grain, make a big, aggressive call here on second down for a touchdown.
Well, it's Cowboys' turn. Along the ground, they don't want to take it deep this time. They're going to pick it up like a shortstop. It's Gilbert who comes up on it, swings wide, and still pretty good return to the 42. Now, of course, to remind those of you who may have joined us just a little bit late, at stake, Nebraska's wrapped up the North. They await the winner of the South. If Oklahoma State should rally, they would wrap it up and play Nebraska. If Oklahoma wins, it'll go to tomorrow night at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. We'll find out who is the highest ranked BCS team in the Big 12 South, and then their last championship game will be played next week down in Dallas. It was the first one. Dick Vermeil and I did that. Great Texas upset of Nebraska. Now we come to the last one. Slant pass into the middle, and here they come with Bowling.
Oklahoma has to be careful getting into the quote-unquote prevent defense and making it too easy on Whedon to just sit back and fire bullets to these wide receivers who are capable of making people miss.
Whedon has time. Through the double coverage that time. Dangerous pitch out there. Tony Jefferson was right there on Bowling. Hurst also was there.
the double coverage, and he also had Blackman trying to get behind, even though he's limping. Throws to Bowling, and there's two Oklahoma defenders, Jefferson on the inside and Demontre Hurst on the outside. Wheaton got away with one there, Brent.
Yeah, he sure did. 2nd and 10. Coming in underneath, and Josh Cooper, prevented from going out of bounds, and because he did get the first down, that clock is still running. That was terrific, keeping the young man from getting out of bounds in that situation.
That was Harris again, Brent, the safety who has stepped up tonight for Jonathan Nelson. Really has ended up playing a great game.
3rd and 3, need the first down here. Wheaton, and he's got it. Cooper again. So clock was stopped there for a few seconds here on the first down.
Brent Venables trying to change up the looks, that time putting 8 defenders in coverage.
He's rushing with 3, and Wheaton has a lot of time, drops it in underneath to Cooper. Clock will not stop, going to continue to run. They're going to have to hurry.
Going to use their last timeout. A logic there from Bob Stoops and Brent Venables by dropping 8. Just try to keep everything in front of you. Don't allow them to get out of bounds. Don't allow them to get to the first down. Keep the clock moving and force them to use their timeouts.
Well, in this situation, with the score at 47-38, it's not the worst thing in the world for Oklahoma State to kick a field goal. They're going to have 2 scores right now, and they get to that onside kick and hope they can recover it. They don't need a touchdown, but they don't need to eat a lot of time up in this situation. They've got to move quickly.
Maybe take a shot or 2 to the end zone. Maybe by that way you don't use too much of the time. Give yourself a chance at a field goal. You have such a great kicker in Bailey.
Blackman is off to the left. Justin Blackman. He's caught 8 balls for 105 yards here tonight. Wheaton under pressure. He does throw it away in the end zone. Now it'll be 3rd down, 1:11 left. Jeremy Beal was applying some heat there, number 44.
He and David King, and when you rush 3, typically the quarterback's going to have time to throw, but Beal and King that time just get right through Oklahoma State's offensive line.
So here's 3rd down. Going to run. I'm not sure about this.
They're just well, you got to get Bailey out there now. You talked about trying to get your 3 points and then set up the onside kick, but the problem is you run the football.
Exactly.
You don't get a first down. The clock keeps moving.
An incompletion stops the clock, and you get them out there. So you can't agree with that draw play call because the seconds are ticking away. I mean, they've really got to bang this in now and move quickly on the onside kick. So they pick up the 3. Danny Bailey, Oklahoma State's all-time scoring leader. Now 36 seconds to go. And they ate away some precious seconds with that running play.
Obviously a big risk, just trying to spring Hunter and trying to get him loose for the first down, if not more, try to maybe spring into the end zone. But it's a high risk there, high risk call by Oklahoma State because the Sooners, by sniffing it out, not only do they stop him, obviously the clock keeps moving. And now it comes down to an onside kick for Oklahoma State. Out of timeouts.
Unbelievable.
Living up to the reputation.
Neighborhood rivals traded blows, didn't they? 81 miles apart. Now the hands people are out there for Oklahoma. All 11 are up for the Sooners. Puts it up high in the air, and it is fielded by you-know-who, Mr. Broyles. Number 85 their ace receiver, and if you were going to kick it in the direction of somebody, he might be the last one you'd kick it at.
Look, it's right in the middle. I mean, it's like it was kicked to him. And as you said, if there's one guy, if you're an Oklahoma fan, there's one guy you want to be in position to be able to go up, make the catch. That's the guy.
So Oklahoma will play Nebraska for the Big 12 championship. They did not meet this year. They are two ancient rivals, and they're about to part ways with the Cornhuskers headed for the Big 10. And of course, the Sooners staying right in the Big 12, which becomes a Big 10 conference, if you will, next year. The victory formation at hand. It is now 8 in a row for Bob Stoops and the Sooners over Oklahoma State. Bob coming across the way. He and Mike Gundy are very good friends, of course. Mike Gundy's brother, Cale, is a coach on Stoops' staff. Recruiting coordinator, works with the running backs. Bob is now making his way, and there is coach. So Oklahoma State goes to 10-2. They'll still get a good bowl bid this year. And here it is, three-way tie. Texas A&M with the same record is up there with Oklahoma State and Oklahoma now. It's a three-way tie. And so the BCS rankings will determine it tomorrow night.
What a job by Landry Jones. He had the interceptions, but ends up having a huge game late in the ball game to secure it for Oklahoma.
Let's go to Aaron Andrews with Coach Stoops.
Brent, thanks. You score on 5 straight possessions. Where was this offense for most of the game? What was clicking?
Well, we did do a lot of good things. We got the big plays at the end. That was the biggest issue. And, you know, what a game at the end. We're very fortunate, lucky in some ways, but proud of our offense to execute and make the big plays when they had to. And defense, really, you take away the kick returns, the offense has scored, I mean, the interception for a touchdown. They did a lot of great things, too.
3rd and 12, 86-yard touchdown. What was the play there? What was the call? Tell me.
Well, we're just, you know, we just got Cameron on a crossing route, and he just beat everybody. He got behind everyone. Same thing with James Hanna. We had a kind of a play-action pass, and they're expecting us to run, and he just got behind everyone as well. So Landry threw 2 great balls.
You're now in the driver's seat to potentially go to Dallas next week, match up with Nebraska. If you have the opportunity to do that, it'll be for the last time in the Big 12 playing for the championship. What will it be like being a part of that history?
You know, it'll be pretty amazing. And then 2 historic programs when you look at Nebraska and Oklahoma, the tradition and all the great rivalry games they had, and to hopefully finish the championship game with us being matched against each other would be really exciting. Both Pelini's done a great job there. So Buddy's a buddy of mine, and Carl his brother. So it'd be pretty special. Hopefully it'll happen.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The Battle of the Youngstown, Ohio boys coming up. Huh? Well, we had 88 points. We hope you enjoyed every one of them. Next Saturday on ABC's Saturday Night Football, 8 Eastern, Dallas. Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. One more for the ages, perhaps. Nebraska, and will it be Oklahoma? We'll find out for sure tomorrow night. We thank all of you for watching ESPN on ABC. Now we take you to Times Square for the Ford Wrap-Up with Robert Flores. Take it away, Robert.